wide receiver, and it could have helped the cause, but Kevin Ogletree, and they'll be happy to see him with his hands on the ball already twice in the ball game because he missed all of last season with a knee injury. Maualuga was out there from the middle linebacker spot to make the stop.
Interesting, the first two plays that the Cavaliers run are easy pass plays to get Lollick involved in the ball game. This kid was a top recruit 2 years ago out of the state of Virginia, getting his chance to start here against a pretty good defense.
He's got 3 wide receivers and a tight end in the slot. He's going to the tight end, almost intercepted, then almost caught. Ellison had his hands on it. He was trying to get it to John Phillips, his big tight end, and it's going to bring up a 4th down in a punting situation.
One of the quick things here, Grace, is you look at these safeties, they're big, but boy, are they quick. I mean, you look at these guys. Ellison is, watch this. Watch the reaction of number 4. I mean, he's in front of the tight end, ready for the interception.
Well, Paul will love a guy like Jimmy Howell, a true freshman, 6'6", 238, the punter. But he's never kicked one in college until right now. And Joe McKnight is back deep, and he is dangerous. Howell took a long time, but he got a nice kick. McKnight waits, takes it, got by the first wave. Look out. McKnight in the open field with a blocker. And he's twisted down at the 44-yard line. But he got 18 on the return.
It reminds you of somebody that used to go to SC?
I think he wore number 5, didn't he? Not number 4.
Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush.
A lot of likeness.
The lineup's brought to you by Best Buy. Again, across the top as you look at the starting line that'll try to protect Mark Sanchez, including Jeff Byers, an All-American candidate at that left guard spot. Sanchez, a junior out of Mission Viejo, California. As Bob said, 2-1 in relief of John David Booty a year ago. Now he's the man. Dual backfield, McKnight and Gable. We thought this might happen because they don't really know who to start. McKnight now as a wide receiver takes it on a quick toss, and immediately he's got an 18-yard punt return and a 9-yard reception. Let's take a look at USC's impact players presented by Best Buy. Sanchez, obviously, he's the guy that they're going to lean on. Bob thinks it's going to be a super season for him, and I don't disagree. Avili, the fullback, they see is the second most important player on the team to Sanchez. And McKnight, we've already seen his impact. He had a sensational Rose Bowl where it was really his coming out party. And already he's come out with back-to-back plays for the Trojans in this ball game. And they're already in Virginia territory at the 48-yard line. 2nd down and 2. Sanchez, nice play fake on that knee, rolls and fires cross field and got his man for a 1st down at the 40-yard line. And it's Vidal Hazelton. And that is a kind of pass you wouldn't think somebody'd throw on a gimpy knee right away, Chris.
Well, no, I watched him in pregame warm-ups. His knee is fine. He made all the throws, short, long, rollouts, quick pass. The guy is healthy. There's nothing wrong with him.
That's what Pete told Stacy. So he's ready to go and ready to let her rip, as Pete Carroll would say. Inside the 40-yard line, 1st down. High backfield behind Sanchez. Avili, the fullback's the lead man, but they're going to throw on 1st down. Looking deep. Now coming back to his second receiver, and he's got a man at the 21-yard line out of bounds. And it's Damian Williams. And there's another name you may not have heard for a couple of years. Transferred with Mitch Mustaine from Arkansas. And he's got his first official catch as a Trojan.
I don't care who the quarterback is. You talked about Sanchez, but you can't give a guy this much time. Watch Sanchez when he comes out. There's nobody near him. Watch where the throw is put. Right there on the sidelines. You got to make the catch, which they did. Beautiful.
Well, the quarterback made the play. It was takeoffs down the sidelines. Both of them were covered. He bought some time, got out, and Williams came back to the ball and made the catch.
And a challenge being put up there by Al. And with that, we'll take a commercial and find out what it's all about. 3 minutes into the game, USC on the drive. We'll return in a moment. No score in Charlottesville, but USC on the drive. The officials reviewed that play. It was not a coach's challenge from the Virginia sideline. And our referee, Jack Childress, during the commercial told us that the play on the field stands. Yeah. Indeed, it was a catch.
In college football, every play is reviewed by the officials up in the booth. So theoretically, the coaches on the sideline don't have to challenge anything because they're going to take a look at it if it's close.
1st and 10, USC. just outside the Virginia 20-yard line. Sanchez, 3 for 3. Tips, incomplete. Now 3 for 4. Nice job by John Copper, the linebacker, back there with Byron Glassby to get a hand on it and break up the pass.
Well, I'll tell you what, someone should have broken up the pass. There were 6 blue shirts back there when they threw the ball. Take a look at the number of people that are in front of this ball, the receiver. Here comes Sanchez throwing back to his left, but look at the blue shirts. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that was a poor throw. That's the poorest throw he's made.
Copper and Glassby both touched that ball. It was a double deflection there. 2nd down and 10.
Sanchez says that's not the way it was in practice.
They give it to Gable. Gable, a gaping hole on the left side, and he's got it 1st and goal inside the 10. Boy, that left side was just blown open. Last year it was Sam Baker, a 2-time All-American, who was opening holes over there, and this time Charles Brown and Jeff Byers. And watch this left side just become a gigantic hole for Gable.
Well, there's 4 new starters on that offensive line. The left tackle getting a great block, Charles Brown. And good running by Gable.
1st and goal, USC at the Virginia 7. That was the first run of the ball game. Sanchez, nice play fake. Bootleg looking, and in and out of the hands of Stanley Havili. And Havili is a great receiver, and that's a rarity in that he would drop the ball. Let's take a look at today's X Factor of the week, brought to you by Citi. And it is the guy who just dropped the pass, but he caught 34 last year, 5 of them for touchdowns.
Yep, that's exactly right. He was a big part of this. He was a running back out of high school, and he's not your big fullback in college football. He's only 225, 6 feet tall, so he's kind of an in-between fullback, halfback.
2nd and goal. Trojans opening drive. Gable inside running this time, and he got down almost to the 2-yard line. Virginia's defense, you see the 3-4 up on top. The strength of the unit for Coach Groh is the linebacking core. Last year, of course, they had Chris Long, All-American and a #1 draft choice of the St. Louis Rams, who is in attendance today with his mom and dad and brothers, I assume, as Howie and Diane, I think, are here with Chris. We saw Chris before the ball game. Here's a huge 3rd down for the Virginia defense. Stephon Johnson now is checked in to the USC backfield. And he's going to get it. Johnson, touchdown. USC's opening drive of the season nets 6 points. And their 3rd tailback to be in the game, the guy that does it.
Pretty impressive, Paul, for an offense that lost 7 starters, including a quarterback, 4 offensive linemen, and a tight end that went in the 1st round of the NFL draft.
And you just watch, you got the 3rd guy in the backfield, Johnson, number 13, and he just waited for the offensive lineman to block. He was in no hurry to get to that end zone.
David Bueller with a point after, and it's 7-0 for the 3rd-ranked team in the country. They got a nice punt return, remember, from Joe McKnight, and then they took it down the field. 1 tip pass, about the only mistake they really made. And it's Johnson, left side, and then back to the right for the score. Trojans in front. A tiny white spot restaurant at the UVA corner in Charlottesville. Right before your eyes, they cooked that baby up. They got the legendary Gus Burger. You got a hamburger patty, cheese, and a fried egg.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Send about 3 of those up right now. Well, wait till halftime.
Paul
Put some
had
mayonnaise on that baby.
He'd have to have mayonnaise.
mayonnaise on everything.
That's right.
Here's a kick, and it's deep, way back to Cedric Pierman, and he'll take a knee, and Virginia will start from the 20-yard line. Let's check in with Stacy.
Well, Brad, they've just issued a severe weather warning here in Charlottesville. Actually spoke with the Associate AD, Jason Bauman. Now, he told me there's a storm moving very slowly about 12 miles north of this stadium. He said it's dissipating right now. The lightning has subsided. They haven't had lightning in about 10 minutes, but if it comes our way, guys, it's going to hit us, and I'm going to get all of it, Brad.
There you go. And obviously weather, we pray for the folks in the path of Gustav, and of course they moved up the kickoff of the LSU game with their win over Appalachian State today because of the weather and our conditions. It's hot, it's humid, there is a chance of rain. There was rain Thursday when we arrived, and they needed it in this area. Hadn't had rain in 6 weeks. First down, Lollick back to throw into coverage, and this one might be picked off. It is. Kevin Ellison, who got a hand. Nope, now they're going to say he didn't get it, that he trapped it. That's almost the same exact play that Ellison jumped one earlier.
Well, you know what? You take a look at Lawler. He just stands and stares at where he's throwing. Watch him. He's looking to his left. He's looking to his left. Now you've got a safety and a linebacker coming in. I mean, it's going to be picked off. I'm telling you, he's got to throw more than one interception today. If he still stands back there and just looks at the guy he's throwing to, you can't do that.
What do you know about playing quarterback?
High school, the grade school.
Finally, they run the ball, try to give their quarterback a breather a little bit. No gain, though, for Pearman. As we take a look at Virginia's impact players, brought to you by Best Buy. Well, they hope that Peter Lollick is going to be an impact player today. Played in 8 games last year, getting his feet wet against a great defense right now. Ogletree coming back from the knee injury of 2 years ago. He had a sensational season. Phillips is a captain, another in the long line of great tight ends. And Eugene Monroe is the best one they got up front on that left side offensively. Second down, make it 3rd down and 10. And it's Lollick out of the gun, and here comes everybody, but flags fly in as well. And you take a look at the USC defense as Jack Childress gives us the call, our referee today.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
I think it was Eugene Monroe, who I just bragged up about being on the Outland watch list, the left tackle, but he knew that he had to get back in a hurry because they were sending the house.
Well, that was Maualuga, the All-American linebacker that we showed blitzing right through the middle.
You know, Ray weighs 260 at linebacker. And he runs like a gazelle for somebody that's 260. So you want to get out of his way or get a head start if you can. 3rd down and 15 now. And more flags. And it might be Monroe again who twitched a little bit on the left side. Of course, they've had some great left tackles here. DeBrickashaw Ferguson comes to mind, and he kind of tutored this kid along. And now Maualuga's going, I'm causing all kinds of havoc. I haven't hit anybody yet.
Well, you know, the thing about it is, I mean, the last play, the referee just said the offense. I think they're all kind of moving. But take a look. You cannot stand there like that. Monroe, number 75, is the guy that moves first, and everybody kind of follows. But this is, you're talking about a great defense now. You got 7 guys back, and 5 of them are touted as All-Americans.
Yeah, plus they're showing him a lot of different looks. This is Pete Carroll's defense.
Here they come again. From the end zone, get rid of it. That might be, if they call it intentional grounding as safety, they're just going to say incomplete.
Pearman was right there, and that's the guy he was throwing to, Brad, in the backfield. And he just said, please, somebody be in the area, because I don't have time.
Maualuga again. He created 2 penalties. And then he came storming in there to create an incompletion.
This Virginia offense is overmatched against this USC defense right now, boys.
And now look out. Jimmy Howe punting from his own end zone. That's not good. Joe McKnight will field this at about midfield, and that's not good. First of all, Howell took a long time last time just getting rid of the football. Snaps a little low. He hung it out there. McKnight's going to have to fair catch it. So Howell does a nice job. The freshman kicks it out, but still the Trojans are already in Cavalier territory again at the 48-yard line, leading by a touchdown just 6 minutes into the ball game. We'll see if that high-powered offense gets going again. We know one thing, their defense is in high gear already. USC already leading by a touchdown after a 56-yard march in 8 plays. Stephon Johnson with a touchdown, and that's where we are. But they've won the battle of field position as well. Again, they start in Virginia territory at the 47-yard line. Sanchez over the middle, completes inside the 40 and very close to a first down to Anthony McCoy. And McCoy, of course, has big shoes to fill, taking over for Fred Davis, who was an All-American last year. Got a who am I for you guys. Played tackle at USC in 25 and 26. Paul was at least around before becoming a Hollywood star. Who am I? Well, a lot of people would call him Marion Morrison. Well, I'll tell you, Pilgrim, you better call me John Waite. And he told me to hit the outside linebacker.
That's good.
Look at that.
It's the Duke. The Duke.
The Duke was a lineman.
Going to have a measurement. When I said close to a first down, it couldn't be more close. So they'll bring the chains out for our first time this year. And looks like they got it by the nose or not. Yep, they did. First down. So, again, field position. After Virginia was backed up,
Oh, yeah.
they completed their first pass, and that's about the only thing that's gone right for them offensively. They had to punt it away. Joe McKnight had an 18-yard return, and then they methodically moved it down the field. And now, after punting from their own end zone, here they are at the 37-yard line.
Yeah.
And a shell-shocked, I'm sure, Virginia defense going, man, I wish they were back at their own 10. Not the case. Havili and Gable in the backfield. Havili will lead the way. Gable off right tackle and down the sideline. It's Joe McKnight, not Gable. Beg your pardon. So another big play for McKnight. So Sanchez over the middle and got it down, and it's going to be another first down inside the 15-yard line.
It almost looks like, Bob, in Virginia, they've got so many people lined up and they're spreading them out so far that they're playing man-to-man, and they're just putting a single man on the tight end, McCoy, and that's his second pass.
Steve Sarkisian, the offensive coordinator, is doing a nice job of mixing, spreading them out, bunching them up, getting them a little toss, sweep. A lot of formations.
And the officials stop play here as we've got a timeout taken by USC with 7:45 remaining in the first quarter. Pete Carroll on the sideline. A couple of national championships just this decade. Game plan. Well, the first game of the season, Bob, no surprises, huh?
Well, for USC, yeah, no any surprises. A big favorite, first game on the road, no surprises. And for Virginia, turnovers and temperature. We want all the turnovers and let the temperature and the humidity wear our opponents down.
And I think the defense is putting a lot of heat on that offense.
No doubt about that. Well, Pete Carroll knows that he's got another very, very good team this year.
We've had great practices and great energy and competition all through spring football and all through fall camp that has been reminiscent of our best teams. This may be as pumped up a group as we have. We got to keep the lid on these guys more than anything.
Well, the lid's already been lifted as they lead by a touchdown. First down at the 14. Stephon Johnson dancing in the hole in the middle. And they finally put him down, a gain of about 3. Antonio Appleby made the stop defensively for Virginia.
It's really interesting the number of running backs that USC has.
Wow.
I mean,
It's a stable.
Some teams just would die to have one of those guys that can run. They've got 4 or 5 or 6 guys that can really probably start in a lot of backfields in Division I.
And after taking Johnson out, they put McKnight right back in, and he's lightning in a bottle, as we've already seen. And the Illini of Illinois found out in the Rose Bowl last year. Second down. Play action. Sanchez throws to McKnight. McKnight inside the 10, 5, diving, touchdown. Well, we said he's lightning in a bottle. He was lightning inside the 10, and nobody could touch him.
You know, the thing about him is, though, when you take a look at him, Ness, when he finally saw the goal line, he was about 4 yards away. He said, all right, let's go up in the air and get it. I can't get it on the ground. I can't make it, so I'll go through the air. What a play.
David Buehler in for his second point after. And this one is good with exactly 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Joe McKnight, we told you he'd be an impact player. Well, he's been an impact player, hasn't he?
The thing I'm impressed with is that the quarterback has done such a nice job of managing the game, no mistakes, getting it there on time.
Joe McKnight, the second touchdown of the day out of River Ridge, Louisiana. Kind of a quiet young man, and a lot of that, he says, had to do with Hurricane Katrina. And living now on the West Coast in a big city, it's a little bit different for him. But last year, his coming out party was the Rose Bowl when he was over 200 yards in all-purpose yardage, 125 rushing, punt returner, receiver, Mr. Do everything. And as Al Gross said to us today, number 4, there aren't any other teams that have one of him.
Well, you know, Bob made a great point about all the running backs that USC has. And Al Gross told us yesterday, he said, hey, you know what? This is one of the few times we've ever had 2.
Yeah.
In Pearman and Simpson.
But they have not gotten anything going yet today on offense. And see if they can after the kick from Bueller. Pearman and Ogletree again wait at the goal line. Another deep kick. Pearman again about the same exact spot. He's got to take a knee again. So they'll work again from the 20-yard line. Well, Gillette Presents Kickoff Week continues tonight on ABC. You'll see either Nick Saban's Crimson Tide of Alabama take on the Clemson Tigers, the favorite in the ACC, or Michigan State and California. The Chick-fil-A college kickoff game tonight at 8 Eastern. Check your local listings for the game in your area. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. The Clemson Tigers, the favorite in the ACC, don't want to be picked off by an SEC team. Already today, East Carolina put a dent in the ACC again. They upset Virginia Tech, if you have not heard.
There's always an upset in the first weekend of the season. Last year was Appalachian State. East Carolina this year.
Lollick back to throw, trying to throw middle screen to Simpson, and they blew that up as well, as he had heavy pressure coming in there. And Peter Lollick has had a tough start. Stingray Malauga has not. Everson Griffin that time is a guy that got some pressure in there.
You know, the first two plays that they ran, Bob, were real quick out patterns, real fast. And I think that's what Al Groh was telling us yesterday. He said, you know, we got to do something right away. Don't sit in that pocket. If Lolly sits in that pocket, they're going to kill him.
Well, the game plan going in, obviously, for USC was to stop the run, force the first-time starter to throw the football. They've got two good running backs. Don't let them run. Force them to throw.
Deep down the sideline. Nice adjustment to the ball, but incomplete. Ogletree, the intended receiver, and coverage out there by Kerry Harris was very good. Well, you saw the pressure coming again, but that time the offensive line held strong. It was Maeva that was coming with the heat that time, the other outside linebacker on the opposite side of Brian Cushing. So now a 3rd down and 10 again. It's been too many 3rd and longs, or worse. 3rd and 20 is what they had last time. And Lollick completed his first 2. He has missed his last 5. He'll have 3 wideouts, and Phillips, the tight end, will be slotted to the right. Coach Groh looking on from the sideline, hoping something goes right here on 3rd and long. Lollick, down he goes, and it is Clay Matthews. And if the name rings a bell, his daddy was a great one, and he has the makings of being the same.
Ness, let me tell you where he comes from. He comes from the outside and runs a move inside up the middle. They never blocked him. He's on the outside over here on the right.
Oh, here he is.
And then watch him. Watch where his movement comes from. He's going to come up in over the center. Look at this. On the outside, gets around, and then makes the play. You talk about speed.
Jimmy Howell did not want to be in his own end zone on 2 of his first 3 punts in his college career. This one way shorter. And it's going to bounce out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. So the field position battle is getting worse instead of better, guys.
As good as USC's offense has been, it's their defense that has dominated this game.
And Peter Lollick's on the phone upstairs, and he's saying, can somebody please pick up number 58? I mean 47. I mean 40. I mean 93.
Didn't Al Groh say to us yesterday, we cannot allow this defense to dictate to us what we're going to do.
Right.
And they're doing it.
He said defense and special teams, more times than not for USC coach teams by Pete Carroll, will kill you. And so far, both are doing that. First down out to 42. Sanchez, nice play fake. Flags are down. In the pocket and now deep, and he's got a man open. In and out of the hands of Ronald Johnson. Nice recovery back there by Brandon Woods to make up some ground.
Yeah.
But it might all be for naught anyway.
And a nice job by Sanchez to buy some time. Just create something, get away from the rush, and get the ball downfield. Give your receiver a chance to make a play.
We have an illegal formation. Less than 7 players on the offensive line. That's a 5-yard penalty. Previous spot. Repeat the down.
So illegal formation. Didn't have enough guys on the offensive front. Malauga with a pressure on Lollick. Number 58's been all over. Here comes the other side as Ellison came in, and then it was Clay Matthews. They're making it rough on the sophomore quarterback, that's for sure.
USC has run 14 plays. 13 has been on the Virginia side of the field, or the plus 50.
They'll give the handoff to McKnight. And finally, they slow him down a little bit. Pickup of about 3. And it was Alex Field who made the stop defensively for Virginia.
Did you see Williams, number 18? He came across behind the line of scrimmage, and nobody actually went with him. You got to believe that they saw this upstairs because they're all sitting right next to us. Did you guys next to us see this? They're all the USC.
Hey, don't help them. Don't help them. They
just hand it to them because nobody's going after them.
They're doing all right by themselves.
They're already trying to use my program monitor for replays, so don't give them anything else. Second down at 12. 4 wideouts for Sanchez in an empty backfield. Quick throw out to McKnight, and he did make the first man miss. Somehow got away from Aaron Clark, the outside linebacker, and Clark just put his fists up to his face mask as if to say, how did I not bring him down?
You know, there aren't many Reggie Bushes around. There aren't many McKnights around. Like a Percy Harvin in Florida, maybe a Jeremy Macklin in Missouri. There aren't many of those guys around. But, boy, when you put those guys out there in space and get them the ball, they're hard to tackle.
Here's the first time the fans at Scott Stadium have come to life because they see a third down and long. USC's got to get to the 32-yard line for a first down. 3rd and 8. Sanchez will backpedal into the shotgun for the first time today. And they're going to blitz him. And Johnson runs right by it. But he's brought down short of the first down by about a yard, maybe a yard and a half.
Boy, here's the situation where you got 4th down and about a yard with this offense playing against this defense. I just got to believe they have to go for it, and if they do and get it, that brings the team to its knees.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever even a doubt because Havili started running back out there, so did Gable. I think Pete had already talked things over with Steve Sarkisian and said, if we even get close on 4th down, let's bring the heat. And here they come. 4th down and 1. A long one. Sanchez, the pitch to Gable. Gable got away. First down, 30, 25, might be gone. He is. Touchdown. "33 yards on the touchdown for C.J. Gable.
Excuse me, which one of these backs you said was the best? Man, oh man, do they have some running backs. I mean, this is just a little toss.
And a penalty marker right now down before the extra points. I don't know if the celebration was excessive, but I don't know what other penalty would be called in this situation. But
21-0 with 4 minutes to go in the first period.
I think Pete Carroll just said, "You've got to be kidding." He said something else involved there too, but he said it twice. There was an extra word. We just skipped that one. So now they're talking things over with the
ACC officials.
Sintum, the defensive captain, talking things over.
After the touchdown and before the try, unsportsmanlike against the scoring team, excessive celebration on the field by substitutes. That penalty is accepted on the succeeding kickoff.
Which should make for Virginia to have a returnable kickoff, which they haven't had since the opening kick of the ball game. So Bueller will come in to try his 3rd extra points. And it's all USC in the first 11 minutes of the ball game. And I mean all USC. Kick is perfect. 21-0 for the 3rd-ranked team in the land.
Well, it can't get any better for USC because 3 possessions offensively, 3 scores, 3 possessions on defense, 3 and out all 3 times.
Here's the last one. This is on 4th and 1. A toss sweep to Gable, who cuts it up inside. And look at the wave of white out in front of him with blockers. And then he just turns on the speed. And Gable, who the coaches say is the most complete back on the team as far as receiving, blocking, and running, shows his running ability on this one, guys.
Look at number 31, Havili. Again, another block. I mean, this guy, he's always downfield hitting people.
Heber the right guard. Lewis, the right tackle, were out there.
21-0 USC, and a strong team this year. Well, there was nothing wrong with them last year either. In fact, I don't know if you know this or not, in the Did You Know category, they had 10 players drafted in the 2008 NFL draft. 4 of them were #1 draft choices.
Yeah.
And here's the list. Ellis and Rivers Baker, who's starting for Atlanta. Jackson, defensive end. They're all those 4 guys are starting. Davis, we mentioned the tight end, the All-American, who won the Mackey Award. Goes down through John David Booty with the Vikings and Chauncey Washington, 7th round pick of Jacksonville. What a group.
So they had 7 drafted in the first 2 rounds. 4 number 1s and 3 number 2s. 5 are drafted from the offense and 5 from that defense. And from those 5 defensive guys, 3 were number 1 draft picks.
Ellis, Jackson, and Rivers.
And they still
have
this defense left.
Well, this coming year, there'll be 7 defensive players taken in the first round.
Now, Virginia should get better field position out of this situation because of the excessive celebration. It means Bueller will be kicking off from the 15-yard line. This is the best thing that's happened to Virginia so far. The kick will sail to Ogletree at the 21. Ogletree to the middle of the field. 35 out to about the 38-yard line, where Clay Matthews made the stop on the special teams, but he got 17 yards on the return. So this is the best starting field position for the Cavaliers with just under 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. They work from their own 38-yard line. 2 pass completions by number 7, Peter Lalek, to start the ball game, and since then not one thing has gone right, as you can see, for the Virginia offense.
They have to establish some type of running game.
Yep.
Somewhere they've got to try to exploit this defense. I don't know where yet.
This time they're going to go with Lalek in the shotgun on first down. Throws, hangs in there, and hung it up too high, intended for Ogletree. So he finds himself on the seat of his pants again, even though he hung in to make the throw. Has it looked to you guys, just a weird observation, that all the snaps out of the shotgun have been to his left and he's had to make an adjustment just to catch the ball before he thinks about throwing?
Well, the center is starting for his first time. The center and right guard both are making their first starts. He may be worried more about the defensive lineman in Moala than he is getting that ball snapped.
And now we've got a different quarterback for the first time today. And it's Simpson who's going to take a direct snap.
He's the running back.
He's the running back. See if he can find a way to weave through there. And he gets out to about the 41-yard line. So a little like McFadden at Arkansas last year.
Yeah.
When they tried that, and a lot of teams have, go to a direct snap, put it in a guy's hands that can make some plays. And now Lalek will come back from the Virginia sideline to the huddle.
Well, wait a minute. Now that's a pretty good running play because it got almost 4 yards.
Got him out to the 42, but it's still 3rd down and 7. So Lalek will have a trio to come out to the near side with trips to the left, and here comes the heat. He rolls that way on 3rd down and throws. Nice catch over the shoulder by Maurice Covington. Finally something went right for Peter Lalek and the Virginia offense.
Well, we mentioned in the opening.
Got a flag down, though. That might be a problem. Personal foul, roughing the passer.
Yeah. Little roll to his left, squares his shoulders, throws the ball to the outside. Perfect throw, and 15 more on the personal foul.
And it's Clay Matthews who got him right under the chin with his helmet. And that's a point of emphasis also this year.
Yeah.
Not necessarily mentioned in the rule book, but you can't use the crown of your helmet like you used to be able to.
It's safety and sportsmanship are 2 things, point of emphasis, that they are always trying to work on every year.
Well, Virginia's got something working inside the USC 30-yard line. 1st and 10 at the 29. Michael Simpson flanking Lalek. Will throw again. He got rid of it again, and that should be pass interference. Nope, I guess not. There comes the flag as Maeba was draped all over the intended receiver.
Maeba was on him, but I'm going to tell you, that's Inman, number 81. But he's just on his back, and it's an excellent call. Now here's Virginia. They're moving down the field because of penalties. They've got to take advantage of it.
You know, when you count the penalty for the excessive celebration, that's basically 4 penalties on this drive.
Yes, sir.
And you had him in there.
USC was the most penalized team in the Pac-10 and 110th in the nation last year in total penalties. Now, a lot of those come from the aggressiveness on their defensive side, and we've just seen that marching the Cavaliers down the field.
Jackson, the fullback, and Simpson flanking Lollick. Here comes a blitz off the corner. Throw down the middle, and it's complete. And it's 1st and goal, Virginia. And it's John Phillips, the tight end.
Boy, these tight ends are huge. They lost 2 tight ends who are about the same size to the draft. And now you got John Phillips, who's 6'6", 250 pounds. And when he's covered one-on-one, he's a wide-open target. And again, he got some time to throw the ball.
Watch out now. This Southern California defense is going to attack. They blitzed all the way down. See if they blitz here.
Might be a clock problem, I think. It looked like the linesman looked up at the scoreboard as if to say, let's stop this thing for a second. It doesn't look like it's running right. Remember, 40-second play clock. It's been reset now, so we'll see what Jack Childress has to tell us, or maybe he won't. Jack's going to come out of the pile and let us know.
Please set the game clock at 2:30, 2:30. And start on the signal, please.
So it was not the 40-second clock, but rather the game clock itself. So they're going to take 14 seconds off what we see on the scoreboard up there. Once they do that, it'll be 1st and goal, Virginia at the USC 7. Trojans leading 21-0. 3 different guys have scored touchdowns. This is Virginia's best opportunity to stay in the ball game here in the first quarter with what will be 2:30 remaining when they fix the clock. You know, it's first game for everybody.
First
clock
game
operator.
of the year. That's right.
The clock operator's a hometown guy. He's trying to give us some extra time.
I don't know if that 14 seconds is going to make a difference.
Well,
We'd
trying.
love to think so. I'll tell you that.
He's trying.
1st and goal, Cavaliers. 3 wide receivers for Lollick.
Got him spread out from one side to the other.
And again, Phillips the tight end. Here comes a blitz. Lollick escapes one to the corner to Phillips, and he overshot him.
Boy, I'll tell you, what an excellent block by Simpson. He is a running back, and we found out, you said he could block, and he stepped up and made a terrific block. He saved Lollick's life. I'm telling you, he really did.
So it'll be 2nd and goal. Lollick looks at that wristband, flips it up.
Watch this. Wallace coming in. Watch number 5, Simpson. Look at that block.
That's a good block on a 260-pound linebacker going full speed. Little trap. Simpson trying to get to the corner. Did. Touchdown, Virginia. Touchdown has put Virginia back in the ball game. As Paul said, he can block and he can run, and he proved it there to the corner for the touchdown. Yannick Reiring has never played football in his life until right now, and he just hit the extra point. All-American soccer player at Virginia is their kicker, and he's got his first point in college football.
They had to show him how to put his pads on.
That's right.
Here's a sweep coming right at you. 65 is Cabell. Just outruns the defense.
Well, Virginia looking for stars like they had last year. And Chris Long, they certainly had a superstar last year. First team All-American, number 2 draft choice in the NFL draft. He was Mr. Everything, Mr. Hustle. And he created havoc in a lot of ACC backfields last year as he led this team in sacks. And he's here on the old stomping grounds with Stacy.
Right, Brad. Well, I've got Chris standing here with me. Now, Chris, obviously you're an integral part of this program. How has life changed, though, going to the NFL?
You know, it's changed a lot. I'm adjusting to it, I think, pretty well. But having a weekend off and being able to come back here is really great.
What adjustments would you make with the defense right now? 21 points for USC.
Well, you know, they're doing their thing in there. You know, they run some zone plays, but I think the offense just has to get them out of the hole a little bit. They'll catch up.
All right, Chris, I have something. I always come bearing gifts. It even has a little grass in it. Now, this is Little John's Chris Long sandwich. Yes, that's right, folks. He's got his own sandwich, a 12-inch steaker. Well, first of all, do you want the sandwich?
I don't eat the sandwich before 10 at night. It tastes better late at night.
It tastes better late at night. Now, what happens if I give it to you? Do you think a fan might want it?
I think I can find a fan. I mean, there's 60,000 people. Somebody's hungry. We'll give them a sandwich, yeah.
Wait, and lastly, did you choose the ingredients? Because I got to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm eating this.
I didn't choose the ingredients, but hey, Little John's, they make good sandwiches. You know, a lot of people tell me it's actually all right.
All right, thanks for taking the time, Chris. Back to you guys, Brad.
Somebody would probably want him to autograph the bun if he took it out in the crowd. Chris Long.
Put some mayonnaise on that baby.
Here's a line drive kick. Going to be scooped up finally at about the 7-yard line by Ronald Johnson. Johnson goes far side, looking for room. He's going to run out of room. Nice job by the special teams of Virginia to bring him down before he could get even to the 15-yard line. 2 observations about Chris Long, in my opinion. Does he really need that press pass? And at about $55 million contract, is he trying to dress down with the T-shirt? Bob, what do you think?
What a great guy to be the face of your program, though.
That's right.
To send out into the NFL and the United States across. He's representing Virginia wherever he goes, and he does it very well.
You know, other thing, yes, he wore that backpack. He couldn't get a room.
I'm sure he stayed at home with mom and dad. From the 13-yard line, the Trojans with McKnight tripped up. Virginia, you can see their defense has a little bounce in its step because they finally got off the field and the offense scored.
And it all started with good field position. After that excessive celebration, after USC's 3rd touchdown, they moved it back, kicked off. Finally, Virginia got some good field position near their own 40-yard line, and 6 plays later, a touchdown. Of course, some penalties by USC defensively helped them move down the field also.
They only had to go 62 yards in 6 plays to score the touchdown. 21-7 late here in the first quarter. 2nd down for Sanchez. Mark's going to load it and fire across the middle. Nice throw, completed out. Damian Williams' 2nd catch, and he's got a 1st down for the Trojans. Glaspie put the hit on him. Damian Williams, they expect him to really be a good one this year for the Trojans. I mentioned he started off as a freshman at Arkansas, had 19 catches and a couple of touchdowns.
Look at the blocking in this offensive line. Look at Sanchez sitting there, Bob. He has nobody. There's nobody getting close. All the blue shirts are on the line of scrimmage. Now he can step up and find his target.
Bradford now in the lineup at the 28-yard line. Sanchez, plenty of time to throw. He's going to come off to his safety valve, and it is Bradford, and Bradford has got a 1st down out to the 39-yard line.
Bob, that's number 4 running back. They got so many running backs, they got to keep track of them all.
Yeah. Well, you're right, Paul, and they all run the same route a little bit differently. They all have their things they do a little bit better. So when they're in there, you got to know what their assets and what their liability. Here's Sanchez. Let's see, he gets hit here. I think that's the first time he's been knocked down all day.
Alex Field knocked him down, the defensive end out of Ashburn, Virginia. Here's McKnight slashing his way again out to the 45-yard line. Vic Hall, the captain of the defense, one of the captains defensively, made the stop. Vic Hall kind of epitomizing Virginia players. I think they come in not so highly recruited, and Al Gross says, you know, we develop guys. They become good football players. And Vic Hall is a guy that's been cornerback. He's been a punt returner. He holds for kicks. And he does just about everything. Well, Virginia got a touchdown late in this quarter, and it made it a ball game. But USC's already got 180 yards of offense going, and 3 different guys have scored. End of 1. 3rd-ranked Trojans 21, Cavaliers 7. USC had 633 yards of offense in the Rose Bowl, their last game. They've got 180 in the first quarter in the first game of 08. They lead 21-7 as we start the 2nd quarter. And Mark Sanchez had looked very sharp. A couple of throws over the middle that were knocked down. Other than that, he's looked very calm and cool there at quarterback. And all their running backs have done a good job, including Alan Bradford, who carries on that play. It looks like he's got a first down at about the 49-yard line. As we start the second quarter, we welcome you back, everybody. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, Stacey Dales is down on the field. Good-looking game so far. My elder statesman partners in our very elder statement. A happy birthday, Paul, a couple weeks ago.
Thanks a lot, boys.
770.
Yeah. So my dog's 70 also.
Well, you don't look 70 in this picture.
No.
and what was the pony's name? You don't remember, do you?
No, that was a picture pony they brought around the neighborhood.
There he is, folks, and here he is now. Yeah. The only thing that's changed is the mustache and the hat.
Well, I had a mustache then.
First down, USC. Sanchez bootleg, throws out, completes, and Hazelton is run out at about the 45-yard line. The irony of a block punt for a touchdown against Beamer ball for an upset. And Virginia, nice job defensively on Gable. And Antonio Appleby hung in there to make the stop. It's going to force a third down. Third down about 4 coming up. Just underway in the second quarter.
Watch the blocking over here on the left side of this offensive line. The defense stuffs them pretty well. That allows the linebackers to get up and fill the holes. Appleby, number 58, getting the tackle.
Mark Sanchez, though, 10 of his last 12, and he's hit his last 7. Will he put it up here on third down? He will. And complete a perfect strike on the run to Havili, his fullback. And that's a guy he can always count on and look to, number 31, who caught 34 balls a year ago. And, you know, they said, guys, Sanchez, maybe the only thing he didn't do that well when he filled in for Booty last year was throw the short stuff. He's thrown the short stuff pretty good.
But this was a great run by Havili. What he did is he came out to the flat, drew the safety with him, and then went back into the inside, and they had one-on-one coverage. He was wide open on this play.
So first down now just inside the 30. 3 wide receivers, and Gable is back as the single setback. Sanchez on first down. Pump fakes, wants to go long, and now he's going to scramble, and he's going to get what he can, and look out on a knee that was dislocated back in the first week of August.
3 weeks ago. Yeah, that's pretty good scrambling, isn't it?
I said to Steve Sarkisian, all of us were talking to him the other day, I said he must be a fast healer too. And Coach Sark, as they call him, said, well, he said, you know, we've had other guys that have had the similar problem, and we've seen guys in the NFL, and that it is not that difficult to come back from. But when you look down in your kneecap, it's way over on the side of your knee. That's not the way it's supposed to be.
but none of the cartilage and none of the ligaments and none of the bones were broken or torn, so he made a quick recovery, and he's playing well.
10th play of the drive, 2nd and 4. Play fake. Sanchez floats it out, completes it to Bradford. Oh, what a collision. Right near the first down marker with he and Byron Glaspie.
Now that is an outstanding tackle by a safety. Glaspie, 22 coming up, but there's still going to be a first down because Bradford knew where he had to get to. Glaspie knew where he had to stop him, and it didn't happen. They got the first down, but this was an excellent play by both offense and defense.
Sanchez again rolling right and throwing on the run. Stacey, I know you talked to him yesterday, and he's just not having a problem with the brace or anything right now.
No question about it. He feels 100%. And, you know, he's a really mobile quarterback. He said his mobility has not been affected whatsoever, Brad.
Just inside the 20. First down, USC. Toss sweep, McKnight looks for his blockers. And he got away somehow. There were literally 10 players, both color jerseys in that heap, and he found a way to get out of it. Boy.
Well, when you're one of 4 or 5 running backs that you know you're not going to get the ball very often, and when you do get it, you want to make the best of it every time. Look at him following his blocks. Cuts back inside. And I'm small. I'm hiding behind my big guy.
He literally was hiding.
Yeah.
Well, he ran right through Copper, the linebacker, number 54.
First and goal, USC. They lead by 2 touchdowns. They're at the Virginia 9 here in the second quarter. McKnight now split out as a wide receiver to the top of your screen. Sanchez throws that way, but it's underneath, and it's down inside the 5 to Damian Williams. Pickup of about 2. Steve Sarkisian says of Damian Williams, he just got a great feel for the game. The wide receiver who's playing his first official game here today for the Trojans. There's Sark.
Doing a nice job. You know, we talked to him. He says, I like to be on the field, calling the game from the field. He says, I've always done it from down there. Now, me, I would want to be up in the press box where it's nice and quiet and cool. I get everything spread out and all the situations, but he feels it when he can look them in their eyes. That's the best way.
Johnson is all wrapped up by Aaron Clark, the outside linebacker, and that is the first negative yardage play for USC today.
You know,
Good
the
job.
one thing I've noticed about this Virginia defense, so watch this Virginia defense. They have not blitzed, I don't think, in this entire game. The linebacker comes across Aaron Clark because he's meeting the fullback. The fullback doesn't block. But they are not blitzing these linebackers. They're waiting at the line of scrimmage. That was an outstanding play.
Everybody up at Scott Stadium for the defense if they can stop a third down here and force a field goal attempt. McKnight in motion. Sanchez over the middle, complete, but it's short of the goal line to Hazleton. And now we'll see what USC decides to do with a 4th down and goal. I would say send out the field goal unit this time.
I would. As good as my offense has been playing, and more importantly, as good as my defense has been playing, if I don't make it and I leave Virginia down here, I feel like my defense can stop them. But I think
David Buehler was 16 of 19 last year. He's 3 for 3 today on extra points, and in essence, that's about what this one is. A 20-yard field goal attempt. Again, the long snappers knew, but he got it there clean, and the kick is up, and it likewise is good. So tack on 3 more, but maybe a little bit of confidence for the Virginia defense to hold the Trojans to just 3. Now the Trojans went the length of the field and had 15 plays. Got only a field goal, though. That's given something for the Virginia fans to cheer about. 24-7, though. The 3rd-ranked team in the country leading the Cavaliers. Buehler will tee it up after hitting the 20-yard field goal. And Pierman and Simpson again. Now this time, Simpson instead of Ogletree joining Pierman. So the top 2 tailbacks for Virginia, there they are, await at the goal line. And the first quarter, Buehler had, if any, wind at his back and kicked it in the end zone. This one might be returnable. This one's deep as well. Pierman, he's going to bring it, though, from 4 yards in. Pierman, big collision at about the 17-yard line. I think right now Cedric just wants to play and carry the ball. They're not getting much chance. Well, we got a lot of great games on this Gillette kickoff weekend on ABC and ESPN, including Monday nights. It'll be Tennessee going out west to take on the Bruins of UCLA, and that'll be Rick Neuheisel's debut as the head coach of the Bruins against Phil Fulmer's 18th-ranked Volunteers. That's coming up on Monday night. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, Stacey Dales with you from Charlottesville.
Just about every problem with these chains today.
And the officials are having problems with the chains. That wasn't me, folks, just in case. Here's Lollick out to his tight end, Phillips. Got 3 or 4. Knocked out of bounds at the 20-yard line. They'll give him 3 on the pickup. So 2nd down at 7. You see the training staff and equipment people are around Mark Sanchez. Apparently they are, from what we understand, adjusting his knee brace. No problem. And he was 7 for 7 on that last drive, and he's thrown 11 straight completions. Pretty impressive numbers here in the opener of 2008. Pierman will flank Lollick in the shotgun on 2nd down and 7 for the Cavaliers. This time straight rush, and the throw is complete, and it's going to be a 1st down throw. Got it out to Kevin Ogletree. Ogletree with the 1st down catch. As for the first time this year, fellas and ladies, we got the Aflac trivia question. And our question, what NFL Hall of Fame coach began his coaching career as an assistant here at Virginia? Think that one over. We'll give you the answer a little bit later on. Cavaliers at the 28-yard line now. And again, 3 wide receivers. And Pierman in there with Lollick, who's been in the shotgun for much of the game now. Again, the quick throw and out to Ogletree, and he's close to another 1st down.
I see some growth in this young kid Lollick, the sophomore who is making his first start here today. Played in 8 games last year. didn't start any. This is his first start, but from that first 3 series where they were 3 and out and punted, he seems to be getting into the flow of the action and settled down a little bit.
The highest profile quarterback to enroll at Virginia, they think, around here since Sean Moore back in the mid-'80s. Second and short. Simpson, the direct snap. He handled it somehow, and I don't know if he got the first down, though. Lalick even tried to give him a little help with a block out there, and it looks like it's going to end up about where the line of scrimmage was.
You actually think that Lalick was trying to throw a block?
Well, he
huh?
was lined up at the top of the screen as a wide receiver.
You know.
And Mikel Simpson, the running back, took it over that way, and he tried to throw a block for him.
Okay.
Well, let's look now. Bob Greasy usually blocks my view of Paul McGuire. That was it right there. That was a chicken wing, boy, if I've ever seen one.
He said, you're not supposed to come this wide. You're supposed to run inside.
Well, he saw the little corner. He said, well, I can't block him. Let me block the big guy. And the big guy said,
So now it's 3rd down and still less than a yard. And penalty markers down. Flags down, and might have been either an illegal substitution for Virginia, as I saw Jack Childress kind of counting bodies.
We have a dead ball foul for illegal substitution. There are 12 players in the formation, less than 3 seconds on the offense.
You know, you want to get every edge you can against a 3rd-ranked team in the country, but you can't use 12 guys.
And you can't make a mistake like that. You've got 3rd down and about a half a yard, and now you've got 3rd and which, let's call it 6. Because
you have to, yeah.
You know, these are mistakes you cannot make against a good team.
Well, and how that happens is, you know, you have a short yardage offense. And if somebody is hurt, the backup goes in for him. Well, maybe the backup is not hurt. He doesn't go in, so both guys go in.
Remember, the direct snap to Simpson was also wide left, and he had to bobble it, and that's why he was stopped short. Now they got 3rd down, and as Paul said, it's 3rd and 6.
Here they come.
Lalick throws, incomplete. Intended for Kerry Koch. So 12-10, Utah leading Michigan. Here it's 24-7, and Howell will have to punt again. Kind of a lazy kick. McKnight waits under it and takes it and bobbled it. Did he get back on top of it, or did Virginia get the ball? Virginia's saying they've got it. Big pile up. McKnight bobbled the punt, and now we got some extracurricular going on between a couple of guys that aren't anywhere near the football. Still no signal from the officials, so Pete Carroll's in there looking underneath the pile too. And it is Virginia ball. They finally caught a break. Danny Aiken, I think the guy that snapped it to Howell, is the guy that got down there that created some havoc and maybe got the football.
Well, if McKnight had one problem last year, it was fumbling punts. Yeah.
That's who it is, 66.
Yeah, he fumbled it and didn't get back on it, and Virginia right there just dove in right on it.
So Danny Aiken on special teams does a special thing. And now Virginia's got it at the USC 38-yard line. Lalick pump fakes one way, trying to throw a screen back the other way. And maybe about a 2-yard gain on the play. Well, we asked you the Aflac trivia question a little bit earlier. What Hall of Fame NFL coach began his coaching as an assistant here at Virginia? Look at that handsome young man to the far right. Don Shula, who coached Bob for so many years with the Dolphins. He was an assistant here in '58. The bad news is Dick Morris, the head coach in the middle, they went 1-9 that year, and over Dick's career they went 1-29.
Yeah, Shue says he only spent 1 year here.
He didn't want to go 1-9 more than 1 year in a row. Yep. Flags are down as Lalick throws and finds a man in the seam, and it's a tight end, John Phillips. But again, there are flags all over the field here.
Coach Shula, I was talking to him this week. He said he took the job over the phone. He was playing in pro ball. He had played for 7 years, and he was getting out. So he had heard this opportunity at Virginia was open, so he took the job over the phone.
And the penalties. It's refused. They're going to take
a first down.
The play, and the catch by Phillips is good for a first down. You told me Shoes used to live right across the street over here, right?
Where the hill is at the end of the stadium. Says there's a house used to be over there. Tell me if that house is still there.
No, there's a lot of buildings over there.
There ain't nothing there, Coach.
That's all academic stuff.
He didn't tell me how much he made. No, he didn't.
At the 28-yard line now, first down Virginia. Trailing 24-7, but trying to mount a comeback here. Middle pass intended for Jackson, the fullback, and it skipped off his hands, incomplete. Ohio State a shutout winner over Youngstown State today, but we understand Beanie Wells was injured. We don't know the severity of his foot injury. East Carolina, we mentioned the upset of Virginia Tech, and boy, did that cause a ruckus here when they made that announcement in this stadium, because of course the Cavaliers and the Hokies don't get along very well. LSU with that early kickoff, a winner over Appalachian State today. All the scores coming up at halftime.
Here they come.
Second down, the Gibbs to Pierman, tries to step up. Oh, what a collision. And a loss of about 2. Kerry Harris over there. Mamaluga was there as well.
Well, you know, you look at this USC secondary, and the safeties are like 230, but Kerry Harris is only 180 pounds, and watch him fill. He is number 7. He is the corner. Watch this hit. Bam!
That's a form tackle for a cornerback, I'll tell you that much.
This defense has 7 seniors and 3 juniors. It's a very veteran defense that USC is putting out there.
This is a huge third down for the Cavaliers, and it's long, 3rd and 11. Lalick throwing a slant. His wide receiver wasn't. Maurice Covington was the intended receiver, and it was nowhere near number 80.
Well, he got jammed, and when he got jammed to the line of scrimmage, it took him off his route.
Reminder, near the conclusion of our game today, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. This is going to be interesting. Yannick Reiering never put a football uniform on until 4 weeks ago. He's a soccer player and a great one from Germany. We asked Coach Groh, where would you give him a shot from? He said, we'd like to get him down maybe 42 or closer. This is 46. Trying to hit his first collegiate field goal, and it's just a little bit wide right. He gave it a ride, though. Here he is. He doesn't miss many, not when he's not wearing pads. 3-time All-American, but he's wide right from 46. Could very well be a record crowd at Scott Stadium today. They're watching their Cavaliers, though, trail USC 24-7 as the Trojans get out to the 35-yard line, and we check in with Stacey Dale. Stace.
Well, Brad, just a quick update on Mark Sanchez. We noticed over here on the sidelines that he was adjusting his brace, perhaps a little bit of digging going on. He pulled up on his uniform and adjusted the brace. They put a little bit of towel underneath of it, but he seems to be fine. I talked to their trainer, Russ Romano, and he's just fine going back out on the field. So clearly no signs of injury yet.
You notice Stacey stands in front of the cool fan down there. That's probably a really
yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, we don't have one of those up here. Second down. Sanchez throws deep out, got it out there, completes, and it's a first down to Hazleton. Great balance right now, Grease, so far for the Trojan offense.
Yeah, they've ran the ball 16 times, thrown the ball 17. That's, you know, if you calling plays, and I called plays when I was playing, that's the way you want it. You want a great balance. Of course, you got to hope that both of them are working, and
right.
they're both working.
And Mark Sanchez, 12 straight he's completed, 15 of 17, including a touchdown in the first quarter. First down, USC at the 43. Virginia would love to have USC make a mistake. They finally come with a delayed blitz. Sanchez pump fakes once, twice. Now he's in trouble, and he throws it away. Appleby and Crawford, the guys that put the heat on Sanchez. We take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Joe McKnight got everything going with a punt return, and then on this little short screen pass on the inside scored a touchdown. So he's had a good day already, and Maualuga and that USC defense has been ferocious on Peter Lalick all afternoon, and that's why the score right now is 24-7. The Trojans out in front of the Cavaliers. So Sanchez just 3 incompletions. One was a drop pass, and that one was a throwaway. Gable, and he stopped after a relatively short gain out across the 45 to the 46. Kevin Crawford knocked him off his pins.
Well, you know this, Sanchez had to have an adjustment on his knee brace, not because he's been hit. I think he's sweating a little bit too much and it's sliding down. They haven't been close to him, really. They got a little close to him on that one that he threw away, but he avoided everybody. He's got a lot of mobility.
Well, he's done a nice job managing the game. When the things weren't open, he's not taking the sack. He's getting rid of the ball.
McKnight will be with him in the backfield as he walks up under center and now back pedals into the shotgun. 3rd down, 7. Sanchez again, plenty of time, trying to buy some extra. Throws complete to McKnight, and he spun out of bounds. Nice job defensively on McKnight to get him out at the 48-yard line. So USC, they have won the battle of field position all day long. They went 56 yards the first time they had it. Stephon Johnson scored on a 2-yard run to make it 7-0. Sanchez to McKnight. We showed you that little short touchdown pass, 14-0. C.J. Gable went 33 yards on a 4th and 1 to make it 21-0. Virginia got a touchdown then to get it closer. They've added a field goal, 24-7, and now they've got a punt. And that's a rarity for USC. And fielded by Vic Hall, who takes it on a fair catch at the 28-yard line. Finally, the Virginia defense stiffens. Their offense will have it at the 17 when we come back. Ken Norton on the right saying, I taught Maluga and those guys, Maualuga and all those guys, all that I know, and then some. The linebackers,
Yep.
a great tradition at USC. Norton, of course, a great player both at the collegiate level and in the pros. 1st down, Virginia. Simpson trying to follow his blockers, and Michael will only get about a yard. Again, the snap from center, everyone has been to the left side, and Lollick has had to make an adjustment even on handoffs from the shotgun. That's something we're going to have to continue to watch. And as Bob said earlier, Jack Shields, he knew he was going to be in for a dogfight today because it's his first extended action, number 64.
Yeah, he's got his hands full.
Yeah, he does. He's got Fili Moala on him a lot of the time. And that's a little scary. 2nd down and 9. Quick slant. What a catch by Coke. And I mean, that's not Diet Coke. That's full-time stuff there at the 30-yard line.
That's just good stuff all around. It's good pressure by the defensive front of USC. Good throw by the quarterback and a good catch.
Really stretched out, got it to the 30. They'll go without a huddle here as we're down to 1:35 remaining in the half. Virginia'd love to get something point-wise before halftime. Lollick pump fakes once. Now he's got an opening. He's got a man. Guess who? Kerry Coke into USC territory. 21 more yards.
It's just like the whole defensive line just ran by him. And he just, I mean, just awareness, he just stepped right up, Lollick did, and he finds Coke wide open.
Kerry Coke, a transfer from Tulane, playing in that slot, and he's in the slot right here again on a 1st down for Virginia. This time, receiver ran a straight down the field, and he was hoping that he was going to run an out route over there, and it's incomplete, and that stops things with 1:13 remaining. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Pepsi 500 in California on ESPN tomorrow. Coverage starts with NASCAR Countdown at 7 o'clock Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
Got them good old boys running again there, Paul.
Yep. You know, I know what Hank Stram would say watching NASCAR.
Yeah.
They're going left, Jack. They're going left, Jack. Now they'll give it off on the right side.
They're always going left.
At the 49. 2nd and 10. Peter Lollick in trouble, got rid of it, and he got it complete somehow to Kevin Ogletree with a guy draped all over him.
That was Moala, 75. That was putting the pressure on Lollick. He just got rid of the ball.
Virginia's got its full complements of timeouts. As you can see, those little yellow dots under the word Virginia on the top of your screen. That's how you can keep track. And they might take one right here, and you might see a dot disappear. There it is. Timeout, Virginia. Short timeout here with 49 seconds remaining in the half. Virginia trying to mount a drive. College football presented by Best Buy. 24-7 and a desperate 3rd down and 4 right now for Virginia. They're only 1 out of 6 on their 3rd down conversions. Lollick's going to go deep. Oh, almost a one-handed catch by Dontrell Inman. Nice coverage by Kerry Harris.
But I'll tell you one thing, USC sent them all. They came after him. They knew he was going to throw the ball. Virginia was going to throw the ball on 3rd down, and they came. Now they're going to try another field goal.
Now they're going to bring out the punting unit. That draws the boos from the Who's.
Why would you boo?
Yeah, they wanted to see him go on 4th down, I guess, with 44 seconds left. You just don't want to give USC too much time to work. McKnight back deep.
Look at the wide splits of the offensive linemen.
Bounces inside the 20 and rolls down, and Howell did about what he wanted to do. I don't know if he got all of what he wanted, but he did get it inside the 15-yard line. 31-yard punt. Don't forget, coming up, we'll have the halftime report, and the guys will have all the scores for you in about 32 seconds. And the USC coaches in the booth here to our left are already picking up their papers, dropping their headsets to head to the locker room. And we'll see if USC tries to do anything with the football here, if they're going to be content at 24-7 in this heat to maybe just run a play and get out of here. That looks like how they're going to set up. Everybody bunched in tight around Mark Sanchez, and he will take a good knee, and that will do it. So USC, the long trip east has been good to them so far. At halftime, the men of Troy 24, Cavaliers of Virginia 7. Well, Saber makes another appearance on the field. Our college football presented by Best Buy. USC at halftime 24-7 as Virginia on the short end. And Coach Groh just talked with Stacey Dales moments ago.
Coach Groh, USC jumped up to a fast start offensively. What adjustments did you make defensively?
Well, the worst thing was that with a really powerful team, Stacey, we gave them short field 3 times in a row, which was exactly what we were hoping not to do, and try to create long field. We had to go to a couple of defenses that we had in the supplementary package to try to slow them down. They had us scrambling a little bit. Most particularly, everything we practiced against, we saw. Players were well prepared. We just got to play better.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Boy, Coach said a mouthful there, because field position was a key ingredient of the ball game from the very get-go. College football, ESPN on ABC, presented by Best Buy from Scott Stadium in Charlottesville. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire. Domination, at least early, by USC.
No doubt about it. They could tell which team was highly ranked and which team was not. But I thought Sanchez played very well, and Lalik, after he got going the first couple of series, played much better.
Paul, the running backs just never got going for Virginia.
We talked about them in the beginning, Brad, and I'll tell you, they have 1 yard rushing in 7 plays.
Oh,
they can't win doing that.
And not only that, but USC is going to get the ball first to start the second half. And dangerous return man back there, C.J. Gable and Ronald Johnson. Here's the kick to start the 3rd quarter. And it's deep. Johnson will take it 3 yards in and says, we're USC. I'm bringing it out. But he got upended. Nice job on the special teams by Virginia, as he only got out to about the 17-yard line. Jared Dietrich made the stop on the special teams. Our Pacific Life game summary. I think Paul said the biggest one. You can't have 1 yard rushing on 7 attempts, but you also can't give the Trojans field position and 251 yards of offense in the first half. Plays are relatively equal, but USC scored on theirs.
Well, the only turnover of the ball game was the fumbled punt by McKnight.
Right.
And that did not lead to any points.
McKnight split out as a wide receiver with C.J. Gable in the backfield. Now McKnight in motion. They give it to Gable and fake it to McKnight on the end around, and Gable somehow just working his way for about 4 yards on the inside. C.J. Gable, a sophomore, 6-footer. He's had a sore hip in fall camp, but it hasn't shown up here in the ball game at all.
Quick healer. Paul, the thing I'm looking for the second half is I want to see if USC, after playing that first half very hot, if they can come back out here and sustain that energy that they had in the first half.
2nd down at 6. Sanchez tipped ball, still caught, and a first down catch. by Ronald Johnson. That ball looked like it was tipped, and yet it got to its intended target in a pickup of 13.
You talk about total concentration. You take a look at Johnson catch this ball. He goes up, not worried about anybody around him. Let's see if this thing was tipped. No, it wasn't tipped, but watch this. Look at this catch, the total concentration. And he almost gets out of this thing.
Made the catch in front of Chase Minifield, who's making his first starts. Frank Minifield's son, great Pro Bowler from the Cleveland Browns back in the day. Chase, a redshirt freshman out of Lexington, Kentucky, making his first start and wearing number 13. Sanchez. That one is batted down. Nice job defensively by Virginia to knock the ball away.
Yeah, defensive coordinator Bob Pruitt for the Cavaliers does a nice job of coaching his defensive linemen and his linebackers that if the quarterback is throwing the ball and you can't get there, jump and put your hands in the air. That time they deflected part of the ball.
Coach Pruitt, the former head coach at Marshall, has a 40-year relationship with Al Groh. They go way back to the high school days of coaching. Second down at 10. Here comes a blitz. Sanchez stands in. Far side, completes it. Nice move put on by Hazelton. Still, they're able to bring him down. Nice pursuit to the ball by Virginia. Minifield and Copper make the tackle.
You know, Hazelton's probably got some family and friends here because he's from New York.
Yeah.
And it's a long, here he is out here on the top. He just goes down and runs the stop. Now he's the outlet. He wants to throw the ball to the guy running down the field, but does a nice job of just getting what he can.
Well, the Who fans are into it right here on a 3rd down and long. 3rd and 6. USC opening March, 3rd quarter. And they're up by 17. Here they come. Sanchez, quick throw. Perfect throw. Complete. Patrick Turner off to the races. Turner all the way down to the 20-yard line. Ball came out at the end, but it's whistled dead at the 20.
Boy, this, I swear, Ness, this looked like this baby was going to be picked off. I mean, this throw was such a perfect timing pattern to Patrick Turner. I mean, it just hit him right in stride and right between the defensive backs. Watch where this ball is thrown. Watch this.
But look how big he is, Paul. He's 6'5" and 220. He looks just, he's overlooking all those defensive backs.
Well, they say he's finally starting to develop into the dominant one-on-one guy they were looking for and that he was looking for himself, and that's Patrick Turner. 42 yards later. Sanchez to the corner of the end zone, incomplete, intended for Patrick Turner again.
Turner's probably got some family and friends here too. He's from Tennessee. All these guys that go from the east all the way out to Southern California, go to school. This is one time their families can come see him play and not have to travel cross country.
Aaron Clark, the starting outside linebacker, senior out of Fairfield, Virginia, is the guy that's down. And right now you can hope that that's a cramp only. Again, if you're just joining us, 90 degrees at kickoff. And while we had the humidity, I think, listed at 49%, I don't know who was doing that humidity test. But hopefully that's all it is. We'll check on him when we come back.
This is my family. This is their new HD TV.
That doesn't look like HD.
I don't think it's hooked up right.
And this is me. Ah, yeah. Let's see what happens this time when my family goes to Best Buy.
This LG is perfect for you, and Geek Squad can set it up.
I don't know what HD is, but I don't like it.
No interest for 3 years on all home theater purchases, $9.99 and up. Best Buy. You happier.
What happens when designers imagine a refined sedan, while engineers craft a powerful sports car?
Go through 5. It can't be done.
They're an extra point away from a 24-point lead. David Bueller in for the point after. And it's up, and he tucked it inside the right uprights. So the Trojans keep their energy that Bob was talking about. It only took them 3 minutes.
No question about it. They took the opening kickoff, second half, went right down and scored. Sanchez is very impressive. He doesn't look like 3 weeks ago he dislocated his kneecap.
He is the energy of the team, and he just took him 82 yards in 7 plays.
Yeah, Turner's over here. He just going to run a post route. Right into the middle of the field.
Nobody home to help out in the middle of the field. So now it's a 31-7 lead for the 3rd-ranked team in the country. A guy that has seen a lot of USC football over the years, and we're in our 43rd year of football on ABC, and nobody's ever called him better, is joining us from home. Keith Jackson, the Hall of Famer. Keith, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Brad, I'm good.
And this is a 3rd-ranked team, and you've seen a lot of them. Are they as good as you've seen in the past a couple of decades?
Better than 3rd.
And that's from a guy that's spent some time down in Georgia and grew up there. Well, they were looking for a quarterback. They got a leader, and they got a heck of a coach in Pete Carroll, Keith.
They've got depth. They got great talent all the way down the roster, and they probably have more of them than anybody. And when they lose the ball game, they lose it because they get careless or get cocky.
Here's the kick, and Virginia is going to try to bring it out. Ogletree from deep in his own end zone. Found a little crease. Ogletree out, and they'll start at the 25-yard line. And a flag flies in at the end of the play. And Virginia's going to hope that's not against them, because they haven't had good field position all day long. Jack Childress with the call. Illegal block against the Cavaliers, so that'll back them up.
Keith, I know that you haven't called games, in a couple of years? I want to know, what do you miss most about not going to the ballpark and calling the games?
Oh, outside of fighting with parking lot attendants, I don't miss much of anything.
You knew that was coming, didn't you?
What do you mean? You mean the one we had down in Tallahassee?
Yeah, that guy, we should have chased him right up that tree.
Yeah, I always remember your line. He said something like Sherman says, now you know why Sherman didn't burn Tallahassee, because he couldn't find it.
Boy, he was determined, pass or not. He didn't care about a pass.
Well, Virginia might be looking to pass right here. Peter Lollick's passed a lot today, but he hasn't gained much yardage. First down.
How would you like to have supper with Bob Pruitt tonight?
Oh, yeah, that's not going to be good, is it? There's a pretty nice throw and catch, though, by Jared Green. And pick up a 16 and a first down. Keith, we talk about USC. They've won 2 national championships in this decade. They had an opportunity to win a 3rd. You did that game, the Rose Bowl against Texas. Is it the best one you ever called?
No, not the best game for quality, but probably the best for pure excitement and for individual performance by Young. He took over the night and walked away with everything. But the game was marred by a lot of mistakes. When USC was in trouble late in the game, they didn't have their best running back in the game. Things like that. And then a dreadful call by the officials on that touchdown to Texas when Young had his knee on the ground and threw the ball forward illegal.
Right. And 19 seconds separated Texas and USC in that national championship.
Yeah, that was a great game. I remember, Keith, the last game that you and I worked together, I'll never forget it. It was the Rose Bowl, a 98 Rose Bowl game. Your alma mater, Washington State, was playing Michigan, and I had a little rooting interest in that ball game. And I always enjoyed the fact that all the writers were on you, because they were wondering if you would show any favoritism. And I'd gotten that same line all year long, and you finally got it that week of the Rose Bowl.
I still think we might have beat you if Black hadn't gotten hurt in the second quarter. Lost their best running back. But it was a great moment. It was a moment to be treasured. It was a moment to be put a top on it and don't let it get out of the bottle, because it was a very special day. It really was.
Well, you're taking a look right down on the field now. Mawuluga, but they're stretching out. He's got cramps, and there's nothing wrong with his knee.
Here's Pierman, who got a good gain and a first down earlier. It's going to be 3rd down at about 10 now. Keith, we know that you're busy in the kitchen, so we're not going to keep you too long. But we just wanted to say, Keith, hey, how you were doing.
You know, you always, say, oh, Nelly, that was always your calling card. How many times did you really say "Oh, Nelly" on the air?
Oh, probably 5 times, and you gigged me into it 4 of them.
Keith, we'll let you run. We'll let you get back to watching the ball game instead of gabbing with us. Great to have you along, buddy.
Take care of yourself. You're great, all of you.
Thanks, Keith.
The Hall of Famer Keith Jackson. Nobody ever did it better. And here's the throw, incomplete, intended for Kevin Ogletree. And now Virginia's going to have to give it up. So they gained a little positive field position because they started so deep in their own territory, and that one run by Pierman looked like it might get them across midfield. It didn't, and now from their own 7 out to the 43 where Jimmy Howell's got to punt it away again.
What a great guy, Keith Jackson, huh?
We were gigging our partner over here, Paul McGuire, about turning 70, and Keith said he's about to turn 80. Yeah. But he's still shooting under his age on the golf course.
Breaks his golf. He breaks his age about every second or third time he goes out.
McKnight kind of misjudged that one, but he tracked it down and got about 4 or 5 yards is all out of the return. So the Cavaliers punt USC down deep, but it's still USC by 24. The Legends Walks, a new feature at Scott Stadium, honoring some of the best players that have ever worn a Virginia uniform. 8 players were in shine to open the Legends Walk, including Tiki Barber, Chris Long, and Sean Moore. Tiki and Rondé both here today. Down the sideline goes Damian Williams. Pick up a 14.
Yeah, they're throwing the ball out there on the redshirt freshman, Minifield. And Williams has all kinds of speed and ability. Minifield is playing in his first game as a collegiate.
You might see on Minifield's helmet he's got number 31, but he's wearing number 13. They thought there might be a time when both he and Jackson would be on the field at the same time, and so they switched. He said, I'll just switch numbers, coach. So they made him number 13 instead of number 31, which is his dad's number as a great player that we mentioned earlier, Frank. 1st and 10. Quick throw. One-on-one out there, and a nice job to stay with it, and that was Chase Minifield.
Yeah, now that's what they're checking. They're checking to see if the defensive back can tackle, and if he can, they'll stop throwing it out there.
Maualuga, we saw him walking around. They were trying to stretch him out earlier. You know, he got kind of a little bit tangled up on a play earlier. We were thinking probably cramps, and it could very well be part of that. But watch Maeva. He kind of steps on his own teammate, and then he pulled up just a little bit, and that might be where he strained possibly his calf muscle, maybe.
He went out right after that play.
Yeah. 2nd down, little counter, and sneaky Johnson, who scored a touchdown today, gets it out across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. You know, you talk about a guy, they call him Stingray, they call him Big Play Ray. Maualuga, you know, if you want a linebacker, I think you want a linebacker that looks like that. I like the whole thing. I like the headband, the tongue, the ink on the big bicep. There you go, Ray. Stacy, do you know the problem he's got down there?
Well, I think Paul was pretty much on cue. He's just got some tightness, maybe some cramping. They've stretched him out, guys, but watch out for Vidal Hazelton, starting receiver. He's injured his right foot. May not be coming back.
We saw him limp off after the last time he caught a pass, and there's the first time Sanchez has felt the heat and thrown a bad ball since early in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Matt Conrath put the pressure on him, and USC's got to give it up.
Well, that's the first time that really the defensive lineman, Matt Conrath, is one of them, that really continued on. And it didn't take a fake and wait. When Sanchez faked, these guys were stopping. Conrath didn't stop. He came right at Sanchez and made him get rid of the ball.
So the punt by Woidneck. Paul fields it at the 22, made the first man miss and dives out. Vic got what he could out to about the 29-yard line. Virginia's got the ball back. They hold USC. Ray Maualuga on the bike trying to get ready to come back in.
Back with you in Charlottesville. USC has a 31-7 edge right now, but the weather is playing a factor. A lot of these players cramping up. The linebacker for Virginia, Clint Sintum, actually after the last series fell to his knees screaming and grabbing his calf muscles, really feeling the throes of this humidity. And as well, Linebacker Aaron Clark, Brad, will be out right now with a right knee injury.
Oh, man, and that's two of their better players on that second level of defense. In the 3-4 defense, you don't want to lose two linebackers basically in one drive. And you see Centum there still trying to stretch it out. Meanwhile, outside linebacker for USC, Brian Cushing, made the stop on that last carry. Just a couple-yard pickup. There's Clay Matthews, who has raised some havoc coming off the edge, wearing his dad's number as well.
How about a family of football players? Any good?
Yeah,
Bruce Matthews,
Uncle Bruce wasn't bad either.
He made all-pro at every single position on the offensive line.
Second down and 8. Here's the end around to Simpson, and he got to the 40, almost broke it.
I met his father this morning. My son and I went to breakfast over at the tavern. Now, the locals here in Charlottesville know where the tavern, what it is. There's going to be a little handoff forward to Simpson right here. Then the offensive line will do a nice job getting out. But he came by and said hello to me. Now, the tavern, you know, it's a breakfast place. I said to the waitress, I said, you don't serve drinks in here. He said, no, ma'am, no, sir. He says, we just serve Budweiser and Bud Light in here.
That's good enough for McGuire.
Yeah.
I've had a place to go to breakfast now.
Here's the counter. Pierman got the corner. Pierman, whoa, wicked hit out there, and he cartwheeled his way out for 9 yards. Sharice Wright is the guy that made the stop. But Pierman's got a little something working here in this second half. Finally, Virginia's ground game, the two guys we talked about, Pierman and Simpson, could not have had closer statistics last year if you tried. Each guy had 113 carries. This guy went out in game 6 with an injury, and that's when Simpson, number 5, who carried the previous play, took over for him.
Well, you know, the thing about it is we talked about this at the beginning of this game. In order to stay in this game or get back in this game, they still have to run the ball. They're only down 31-7.
Here's a middle screen. Pierman, that's a tough catch. He broke a tackle, and he's got a first down. Down to the 46-yard line. So Pierman and Simpson, the two guys we talked about in the open, didn't do much in the first half. But look what they did last year. How many times can you have the two tailbacks carry the same amount of rushes on the year? Simpson, though, a much more prolific receiver out of the backfield.
Yep.
So they move the chains at the 46-yard line.
Simpson led the team in receptions with 43 last year.
Both wideouts down to the bottom of your screen, including Jared Green. They're going to run it to the power side, and this time it's going nowhere. Reminder, not only great games coming up tonight, but also on Monday. Gillette kickoff weekend continues Labor Day as the Tennessee Volunteers will head to the West Coast. They'll take on the Bruins of UCLA. College football primetime presented by Jack Links. Monday nights, 8 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
What do you think? There's a new sheriff in town out there in LA?
Well, Rick Neuheisel.
Yeah,
and Rick's always going to make some waves no matter what.
You think that was a good hire?
I think absolutely it was a good hire.
I do too. I think Rick had, you know, served his little time, went through purgatory, and came back, and I think it was a great hire for UCLA.
Lalick, oh, dangerous. Almost picked off by Taylor Mays. Well, USC coming in here, the number 3 ranking, as Keith said, not high enough. Well, hey, it's not high enough.
That's right.
31-7. USC jumped out to a 21-0 lead. 3 different guys scored touchdowns, and they added a field goal. Virginia came back, helped by penalties to put a nice drive together to get their touchdown. They missed a field goal of 46 yards. It would have closed the gap a little bit, but right now their problems have been pretty complete. One of them is third down situations where they're 1 for 8, and they've got a third down in a bunch right here. 3rd and 13. Lalick. And knocked away, intended for Phillips, and Brian Cushing, the outside linebacker, made a really nice play and got that right hand in front of things to break it up and force a punt.
Folks, that was a linebacker, number 10, not a defensive back, and that's how well he can cover. Brian Cushing is 6'3", 255 pounds. One-on-one coverage.
Yeah,
is that any good?
He and Maualuga, 2 of the best linebackers in the country. And when Ohio State in 2 weeks goes out to play USC, there'll be 4 really good linebackers in that ball game.
Those two guys you just mentioned, both defensive MVPs of the last 2 Rose Bowls. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, that punch is going to go all the way to the end zone, and they'll bring it out to the 20.
We're talking about Laurinaitis and Freeman. The 2 linebackers for Ohio State will also be in that game.
Well, Ohio State won today in the All-State Standings Review, ESPNU All-State Standings Review. Here's how the AP Top 10 looked with USC in the number 3 spot, and that's what we're using when we're talking today. Clemson you're going to see against Alabama later tonight on ABC. And here's what the coaches poll looked like. A little flip-flop there in the 2 and 3 spot. Ohio State a shutout winner today, and USC was number 2 behind the Georgia Bulldogs, who beat Georgia Southern today. So far, we know that 2 of the top 3 have already won, and the other one right now is leading 31-7 in front of us. Nice play fake by Sanchez. Rolls, throws on the run. Diving attempt. Did he make the catch? Whoa, man, that's a heck of a catch. Fans don't like it. It happened right in front of Pete Carroll.
So he wants to get up there.
And Pete says, let's go, hurry up.
That's right, because he knows they're reviewing it upstairs in the booth. They work on this in practice, so now they want to get it. Here's a review.
He's out of bounds.
They're going to stop it. They're going to shut it down.
They shut it down, as Dave Perry would say.
Shut it down, Dave Perry.
Ronald Johnson was out of bounds, folks.
Florida, by the way, you saw them in the top 10.
Previous play is under review.
Florida won in a rout today as well, as we mentioned some of the top 10 teams. Here's the review, and here's a look at the play.
Well, look at Ronald Johnson's feet. Look at now. Look at he's out. They're both in the air when the ball comes there.
I don't know.
Did he have possession when that foot was in bounds?
And it was a tippy toe. I'll tell you that much.
Did he have possession when that 1 foot was in bounds? That foot's in bounds. Now, when's he catch it? Oh, that's close.
I'm going to say he's out of bounds.
That's close. Here you go. Now, here's another one.
No, I already saw what I wanted to see. You don't have to show me another one, Greasy.
Catch. I don't know.
He doesn't have the catch yet. He's bringing the ball in. And if you're bringing the ball in, you don't have the catch yet. If he'd have caught it in his hands, it would have been a different story. I'm a defensive player. I know what I'm talking about. You're only the thrower. I'm the catcher.
Tell you what, whatever way you slice it, the guy they call Rojo, Ronald Johnson, made one heck of an attempt. Whether it's a catch or not a catch, you talk about laying out right in front of the head coach.
Yeah, how about Pete? He doesn't miss a beat. He's got his team ready for every scenario, because right then he hollered out to Sanchez, hurry up, offense, get him on the feet, get him on the line of scrimmage. Don't give the replay operator much time to look at it, because it was close.
USC, Bob mentioned earlier, 2 weeks hence, they'll be on ABC against highly ranked Ohio State in the early game of the year part of the season. I guess the early season game of the year. That'll be September 13th, but they got an off week to get ready.
Right.
So there is no looking ahead. They're going to go right back to what they do in fall practice and spring practice and play a lot of the guys, or practice a lot of the guys that may not see much action, get them ready. And then when you look ahead, all the big games or all the key games that they would have that would probably give them trouble are all at home.
At home. Oregon State, they're all at home. California,
Notre Dame, and UCLA, you might as well, that's a home game basically, even though it's considered a UCLA home game. Here's the call.
What a nice schedule.
Further review, the play stands is called on the field. It is a catch.
Oh, no.
What a great effort.
It is a great effort.
And a pickup of 17, so they're going to leave it right where it is at the 42-yard line. And that's the guy that made it. Johnson, the sophomore. 6'1", 185. Tremendous play there to snatch the first down. From the 37. Eye backfield behind Sanchez. Play action. Sets. Had it batted at the line of scrimmage again. And I think it was Conrath again. And Matt, using that 6'7" height, creating a little bit of havoc on the front wall.
You know, Ness, what's really nice about you're looking at USC's schedule. They came here to Virginia, and Virginia wasn't a weak team. They've lost a lot of people. But the neat thing about that schedule is they go play Ohio State. They got a week off to prepare. They have actually 2 weeks to prepare. So there was never anything about, are you looking ahead? Do we need to look ahead to Ohio State? They don't have to look ahead at anything. They got a whole lot of time off to get ready for them.
Sanchez shotgun and knocked down at the line of scrimmage again. Denzel Burrell this time, who took over for Aaron Clark, who came out with the injury, and he got airborne. That's the one thing. If you can't get to the quarterback, get up in the air and get the hands up there. He looks like he's cramping right now the way he's running.
Yeah, it's a cramp. Sanchez now has got 3 or 4 balls knocked down.
Of his 8 incompletions.
And what that tells me is he's looking where he's throwing, and he's taking a slow delivery. He's got to get rid of the ball quickly.
And his quick release was one of the things that they talk him up about. Of course, you can't quickly release when you're rolling out to your left and throwing a strike like that. Wow. There's a dart.
That's textbook right there.
Yeah.
Textbook rolling out by a quarterback. If you're rolling left and a right-handed quarterback, you get deep so you can get outside and then be running towards the line of scrimmage when you're going to throw it. Just take a look. Gets deep. Now he starts running toward the line of scrimmage, and he gets his shoulders square to the target and lets the ball go.
Damian Williams has been a big part of this offense today in his first official appearance in a Trojan uniform. Got 2 tight ends in there, which is a rarity. And that's Williams in motion. Sanchez again. Rolls, sets in the pocket. He's going to go deep. He's got a man out there. And it's a touchdown. Ronald Johnson on a 49-yard bomb from Sanchez.
Ronald Johnson's got the speed, probably the most speed of any of the receivers.
You know what's really neat about that play, too, is that I think it was Butch Lewis, the right tackle. When Sanchez rolled out, he kind of missed his guy, and then he went back to get him. And then look at this. There's not a blue shirt in sight.
Well, there was first of all, there was a play-action fake. And that's what Johnson was doing when he was going down and stopped like he was going to block the corner and then took off. That sail job is what made that route because the corner just left it. Watch the fake. Right there is when the cornerback, what he saw when Johnson was trying to block him. Now Sanchez buys some time to find some area to step up and throw the football. He knows he's got it.
Let's check in with Stacy.
Well, you clearly see some chemistry developing with Sanchez and his receivers. And, guys, I talked to Sanchez yesterday. I said, where does it come from? He said, you know what? In the offseason, I took everybody to my home in Orange County, and then we thought we were going to practice. But all of a sudden, I said, hey, guys, let's go somewhere. He took them to a water park in the Orange County area, and he did slides and inner tubes and all that fun stuff, Brad, that you get to do on your boat throughout the whole summer.
I tell you what, he is the Pied Piper, and you can talk about the great line of quarterbacks from Carson Palmer and then through Matt Leinart, both Heisman Trophy winners, and then John David Booty, and now Sanchez, and he goes, hey, 3 touchdowns already. It doesn't really matter where he's throwing them, he's completing them.
Oh, for sure. Short, middle range, deep passes. Whatever. 8
different receivers. Bob, you mentioned that earlier. That's the key, too.
Yeah.
Because all those guys he took to the water park, they're all getting a little taste of sugar.
And the skill players are there. The wide receivers are there. They have finally developed over the years. Some of these guys they thought was going to be really good, but it took them a little while to catch on.
Ogletree from 5 yards in his own end zone. And he pounds it out to the 24, maybe the 25-yard line. And people were talking about Heisman and all of that. Lalick, deep middle, into traffic, intercepted. Picked off by Kevin Thomas. Yep, you just can't slide one in there, not on the defense at this fast.
He was under pressure to try and get rid of it, and he threw it up just for grabs. He should have never thrown that ball.
The ball was thrown short. Kevin Thomas, and you talk about the adjustment on, not only does he catch the ball, but as he catches it, he gets hit. And the concentration to hold on to it. You're going to watch Lalick, when he steps up, watch this. It's just like a floater. Here it comes out. Kevin Thomas, watch this, catch, hit, holds on to the ball.
Kevin Thomas took it away from Taylor Mays, if you ask me. They both could have had it.
Yeah, he'll see this on the tape tomorrow or the next day, and he'll learn from this. You know, you learn more from your mistakes than you do from doing the stuff right, because doing it right's the way it's supposed to be.
Here's McKnight, toss sweep, cuts back left. Now look out, gets a block from his quarterback. Here he goes, Joe McKnight, 40, and he'll just cruise out of bounds at about the 34-yard line.
I'm not so sure that the USC coaches are glad to see Sanchez throwing blocks.
Yeah, look at him, though. He's punching his fist in the air like, man, I got somebody there.
Now you want to see how a quarterback knows how to block. This is a quarterback blocking. Number 6, Sanchez, is going to be there. What? McKnight's going to come back. Look to the left of your screen. Here comes number 6. Bam! Boy, I'm going to tell you, he laid him out. Well,
he didn't lay him out. He bounced off of him.
Well, the guy didn't make the play. That's all that counts.
Bradford now will spell McKnight as they continue to rotate the tailbacks. First down, USC at the Virginia 34, leading 38-7. And they might have taken too much time. You know, we talked about Sanchez. We saw him running down the length of the field to embrace his wide receiver after he hit the long touchdown. We saw him throw the block. That's just the way this kid is. He talked with us about his leadership style.
This whole team feeds off of me, so I need to let them know that even when things aren't right, they still look right, and then I got it together and I'm ready to go. But I'm going to bring the juice. You know, that's just the way I am.
Tell you what, the juice has been stirred pretty well today. 310 yards and 3 touchdowns so far.
You know what? Him being hurt those 3 weeks actually made this team stronger because those 2 backup quarterbacks, Corp and Mustaine, got to play and got some valuable reps in practice. So they're much stronger than they were.
Let me ask you this. Should USC score on this drive, do we see Corp come in and Sanchez go away for the day?
Yes, because he's done everything that you could want Sanchez to do in a game. And now you need to get some of these other guys in the ball game because especially early in the season, you want to get your other players in there, your other quarterbacks, in case Mustaine or Corp need to come in later on. If Sanchez would get hurt in the 6th or 7th game, you'd have those guys some experience.
In that picture, it was Corp on your left and Mustaine on your right. Running back against the grain is Bradford, and a penalty marker after a pickup of 8. Woods and Burrell made the stop defensively for Virginia, but we're winding down to the final 90 seconds of the 3rd quarter, and it is a holding call. There haven't been a lot of penalties really on either team today, but on USC. Pete Carroll looks on. Pete Carroll started this job.
71 of the offense, 10 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
Pete Carroll started this job 8 years ago as a head coach at USC. He started 2-5. He is right now 76-14. Do the math, folks. 6 straight years of 11 wins or more, 6 straight BCS bowl games, 2 national championships, and just missed out, as we talked with Keith Jackson earlier, in the final 19 seconds. Might have been a 3rd national title. That's pretty good. He's the winningest active coach percentage-wise in college football.
You ran through those stuff too quickly because there was a lot of good stuff.
Tipped and intercepted by Appleby. Appleby trying to find some blockers. And that's the first mistake today. A tip pass. Remember, we've had some balls batted down. A couple of tip passes from Sanchez. That one got up for grabs, and the tip drill took over.
Yes.
Ness, McKnight is going off, number 4, holding his arm. He is hurt. He hurt something in his arm or his hand.
Well, anytime a ball is tipped, it's the defense that's usually going to come up with it.
McKnight's the guy that got a hand on it, then he got pulverized.
Yeah, that's probably where he hurt his shoulder.
So now Virginia takes over. McKnight kind of shaking things off over there on the sideline. Here's a quick throw out, and Green with a catch and a pickup of about 9 down to the 44-yard line. And Maualuga is still back out there. Jared Green, he's been a big part of the offense today, and that's another son of a legendary football player. Darrell Green's son, Jared, a wide receiver here. Yeah. Jared was his dad's presenter at the Hall of Fame, as a matter of fact, in Canton over the summer.
I saw Dick Butkus at the Hall of Fame this year, and Butkus was telling me how he's going to be at that Ohio State USC game because there's going to be those 4 outstanding linebackers.
Butkus candidates.
And, you know, the Butkus Award goes to the outstanding linebacker.
He's not picking him.
Yeah, he's going to be out there looking.
We all helped to pick him. Maeva made the stop on that last one. You know what? Don't cross Butkus. He's already depleted both you guys a couple of times.
He almost killed me once, I swear.
He forced me to line up behind the right guard.
That's my favorite one.
Well, I tell you what, I told a story a long time ago. The old Rydell black shoes we wore, he knocked me out of both of them in one shot.
I wish he was around on Thursday nights. to help us out. That's the end of 3.
Oh, that's hard, man.
So Virginia trying to hang in there. They've got the ball. They've only got 15 minutes to do something about it. It's been all USC. Sanchez 3 touchdown passes on the day. And it's the Trojans 38, the Cavaliers 7. College football presented by Best Buy. We start the 4th quarter with 3rd-ranked USC leading 38-7. And Lalick in trouble in the pocket. The blitz was coming, and I think the Trojans have got it on a 3rd down, and they do. Just when Virginia had gotten a turnover of their own, Maualuga and company come in and take it away from them.
Maualuga just came in, and nobody, this is like the 2nd or 3rd time in this game, and I don't even understand it, that he's not even blocked. I mean, nobody touches him. How do you not account for this guy? You have to account for him.
Well, Simpson fanned. He went under him.
He went over top of Simpson.
And then Clay Matthews is going to be the guy that's going to jump in there and get the fumble recovery.
But the start of the whole thing, Brad, was another bad snap by the center.
Yep.
Another was low and left, like he's been snapping them all day.
Yeah. So now USC takes over. On the plus side again, they have lived starting drives in Virginia territory today. Here's Stephon Johnson, and he works his way out for about 8 more yards. Well, guys, when you come into the season and it's our first game, and you say, well, you're going to see the number 3 team in the country. Some people say the number 2 team in the country. They certainly haven't disappointed the Trojan fans out west.
Keith Jackson says they should be higher than 3. So to us today, Keith, they look like number 1.
Well, the quarterback's been sensational, though, I think.
He has, and it's no surprise to me because he's got the people around him, and he's got the ability to do it. He's waited 4 years for this opportunity.
Here's Gable now, and that stable of running backs. Paul talked about this a little bit earlier, and so did Bob. They're so deep at running back that Steve Sarkisian says, I got about 10 guys I could really pick from, but basically we're going to run 4 of them in this game.
Well, the other thing about those 4 running backs that are playing in this game, you can watch them run. They have so much confidence in that offensive line. I mean, the offensive line, it doesn't matter to them who's back there running the ball. It's just that we have to get to the guy in front of us, and these guys that are running the ball have the confidence in them.
Here they come again.
So you tell me why a top high school running back right now would want to go to USC and get in line behind all these other guys.
Well, you never know when you might be the next Mike Garrett, O.J. Simpson, Marcus Allen.
That's exactly right. 2 years ago, when McKnight was coming out of Louisiana, there were 6 or 7 of them. He said, I don't care. I'm going to go there. That's the best place for me to go. And that's where he went.
Forgot Anthony Davis. There's 100 more I could have put in there. But
and Pete puts him in. I mean, he says, if they can play as a freshman, I'm going to play him.
And they're running it now. And they find a hole, and it's Bradford. And Bradford powers his way to the 15. A late flag flies in as he's got it in what would be a first down at the 16-yard line after a run of 16. It's a holding, so they're going to bring it back with that penalty as they walk it back. We're going to give you a who am I? I was the first of 5 running backs to win the Heisman Trophy at USC. Who am I? And the answer is, and I accidentally gave it away, number 20, Mike Garrett, back in '65. Now the athletic director at USC, went on to a sensational career with, again, Hank Stram and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
38 pass. Toss power sweep, boys.
They're
it's
going
to work, boys.
What do you say? They're going left, boys?
Yeah, it could go on the right side. 2nd down and 18.
I still laugh.
We love the late Hank Stram and the late Jack Buck. And here is Alan Bradford again. USC now content as the stands are starting to clear a little bit. They don't have to really do any more damage. What they'd like to do is maybe make the news conference afterward for Pete Carroll a little bit shorter, and then get on a charter and head back to the West Coast and gain a few hours and get back home. They've been here since Thursday.
Reese, why is Sanchez in the game?
Well, He'll be out in just a minute.
I thought you were going to say after he throws his next touchdown pass.
Could be that too.
Well, it's 3rd down and 10. Quick drop, pump fake, and now he almost threw it. Damian Williams inside the 5.
That is so good. That is so good. All that stuff he's pumping to the left, that's to get the free safety out of his way where he wants to throw the ball. So he fakes to the left and comes back to the right and just fires a bullet straight down the lane.
He had Patrick Turner was the guy that he faked to, Grease, running down the left-hand side, and everybody went that way. I mean, it's a perfect pass. Watch him look to his left, folks.
To our right. Look at, he's just holding the safety over there.
Now it's 1st and goal, USC, just inside the 4. 2 tight ends, Bradford. And Bradford didn't get much. Got about 2, though.
Here he is. He's going to fake. He's going to fake this way over here to hold this safety over here so he can hit the guy straight down the field. This is the safety right here that he's trying to affect. And then he throws the ball right down the field.
They got an extra fullback in there. They've got as many tight ends as they can put on the field. And Goodman, the fullback, the up man in the eye with Bradford the tail on 2nd and goal. Second man through. Bradford puts his head down. Touchdown, Trojans. A 2-yard run for Bradford. Well, it's a good thing they brought their pep band. They've had enough chance to play, haven't they?
Yeah, they followed the fullback Goodwin. You talk about Goodman being in the game, number 45, and he weighs 240 pounds. They just followed him in the hole.
Well, they had 3 drives start in Virginia territory today, USC did, and they scored touchdowns every time it happened. Extra point by Bueller is up and good. So they extend their lead to 45-7 with 10:47 remaining in the ball game. And here comes Bradford on the ground. There's Phil in the hole with the fullback, as Paul talked about, and there's a 2-yard touchdown. Pete Carroll liking it. College football presented by Best Buy, 45-7 now, and I'm sure Mark Sanchez Day is over in front of a record Scott Stadium crowd, 64,947, and it is 1,200 more than the previous record set against Miami 4 years ago. So everybody wanted to see the Trojans come all the way from West Coast to East Coast. And the only problem is most of the fans are going to go home disappointed, except the USC fans. And we saw a lot of them over the last couple of days that made the trip from Los Angeles or from wherever around the country they might be Trojan fans. Let's take a look at our Best Buy playbook. Robert, take it over.
All right, here we go. I'm going to show you a little play action pass. Quarterback's going to fake, and then the receiver is going to run a stop and go. Here you go right here. He's going to do this, and he's going to come to the right side. Now watch the fake. The fake is right here. Now he's got a problem with that defensive end, so he's got to get back inside. Now see the receiver outside there. That's who ran the stop and go. So he gets inside, straightens up, and just throws it as far as he can throw it. Johnson is probably the second fastest guy on the team, maybe the fastest.
Lalick, meanwhile, the Virginia quarterback goes to his most dependable guy, tight end John Phillips. Pickup of about 9. We check in with Matt Weiner in New York. Matt.
All right, Brad, here's our nominee for the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week. West Virginia's Pat White has tossed a career-high 5 touchdown passes this afternoon, and his total yardage now at 271 passes Mark Bulger. He's now West Virginia's all-time leader in total offense. Mountaineers still playing up 41-14. Text VOTE to 51234 on your AT&T wireless telephone to cast your vote.
Lalick with a long throw down the sideline. And that's incomplete, so 3rd down and short now. Virginia trying to get something going. They've got to look ahead. They've got Richmond next. And former defensive coordinator Mike London, who was here with Coach Groh, is now the head coach at Richmond. So a little bit of relationship between those two guys. Obviously, that's their next game, but they're going to have to try to recover from getting thumped on their home field, where they've won 34 games in the last 5 years at home, but not today. They're down with 10 minutes left, 45-7.
You know, Ness, one other thing about USC, they've run 65 plays so far today. They only have one negative play. Now, you can blow up the offense and talk about how good they are, or how bad is this defense in Virginia.
You know, these two coaches they know each other. They're friendly. They have met each other in the National Football League in the AFC East. They were both on different teams, the Patriots, the Giants, and the Jets.
Lollick complete to Green, first down out at the 45. In fact, both Pete and Al at one time were head coaches at New York with the Jets.
I asked Al the other day at practice, I said, were you ever on the same staff? He said, no, we were never on the same staff. He says about the only time we met each other was at the middle of before the game, at the middle of the field, when we shook hands before the game and shook hands after the game. He said about the only thing we had in common was we did share the same parking space when he was the coach of the New York Jets, and 3 years later, he says, I was the head coach of the New York Jets. I parked in the same spot. He said the only problem is he got the head coach's office, and when I was there, Parcells got that. I never got it.
Here's a hit and a fumble, and USC's got the ball back again. Phillips got tattooed from behind. Clay Matthews, who's been involved and around the ball all day long. Number 47 can raise some havoc too, can he? And there's that infectious personality of Pete Carroll. And Mark Sanchez, you saw on the sideline, I'm sure it's just a precautionary thing that he's going to wrap some ice around that knee because his day's done. And everybody can smile on the USC sideline now with 9 minutes left, and they've got the ball again. Aaron Corp's going to take over at quarterback. He won the number 2 job in a battle with Mitch Mustaine through the course of fall, especially in the last 3 weeks when Mark Sanchez was out with a knee injury. Bradford hits forward progress, gets him down near the 45-yard line.
All 3 of these quarterbacks for USC are very talented. Corp is talented, could probably start for a lot of teams, and Mustaine the same way. So they got a very good situation, well, not only at their quarterback position, but at all their positions. Pete Carroll has done a great job. When he came there, he's been there, this would be his 8th year. When he came there, the first speech he gave, he talked about energy, enthusiasm, passion for the game, and competition. And amongst all that, he says, we want to have fun. And you can see it in him and in his practices and the way he carries himself.
Third down upcoming for USC. Pete likes to throw the ball around a little bit at practice every day. Probably makes more throws than his quarterbacks do sometime. And he was out there warming up before the game again. Yep. Says his arm's in great shape.
Well, he was a quarterback in high school.
So third down with 7:45 to go. 3rd and 5 at the Virginia 42. Gable, left side, bouncing it out. He might get a first down out of a great run here. I don't know if he got there or not, but he took about 4 hits trying to get to the sticks.
C.J. Gable, the ball carrier for USC.
I can see now why he gets banged up a lot, because he takes a lot of punishment.
Well, you also can see why, when you say 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 running backs and they want to come here, they have to prove themselves. Now, Gable, I mean, this guy should have been down about 4 yards ago, and he ends up close to a first down, and he may have had it. He got it.
Missed it by that much.
Oh, give it to him. After that
give it
kind
to
of
him
run,
on effort.
Yeah, just on that run alone, you should give him that extra inch.
Well, Virginia, all the close games they won last year, 6 by 6 or less, 5 by 2 or less. Today, not close. They've got only 10 starters back. Brand new quarterback. Of course, we mentioned earlier Jamil Sewell, who was their starting quarterback basically for the last 2 years. academically ineligible. He'll try to get reinstated in January, and if so, he could be eligible to come back and practice in the spring and play next year. And that's yet to be determined. Anyway, Peter Lalek's had a tough day against a very, very, very good defense in USC. On 4th down, Bradford down the sideline, bumped out of bounds, and USC with a 1st down.
The positive thing that Peter Lalek can take out of this game is that the rest of the season he won't play a defense any better than this one.
That's for sure. No doubt about that.
You know, the other thing, when you look at this game here, and you think about 2 weeks from now when they play Ohio State, what do you think about when you're the defensive coordinator of Ohio State? You've got to get yourself prepared for 4 offensive backs. And how many, what did he hit, 8 or 9 different guys throwing the ball? I mean, that's a lot for the defense to put together.
Well, you know, these guys have been around. I'm talking about Hazelton and Turner and Osbury and Johnson. They've been around for a while, and they came very highly publicized and All-American in high school, and they've kind of been slow to really get it. But now they seem to have gotten it, and they're playing very well as a group. And the running backs, too. He's got a lot of running backs to choose from, a lot of receivers.
Here's Corp, the give off to Johnson, who scored the opening touchdown of the ball game. Our Pacific Life game summary. Get things summed up pretty good with Mark Sanchez by himself, I think. He's been sensational today. 26 of 35, 338, 3 touchdowns, 1 tip ball that became an interception. But here was Bob's play of the day, 49-yarder to Turner. One of his 3 touchdowns, 6 different players with touchdowns, 8 different receivers caught passes. Just what Paul was talking about. How do you get ready for so many weapons? I'm sure Coach Tressel, once his game was over, is maybe trying to watch some of this, and he's thinking the same thing. And here's Corp getting a throw for the first time today. It goes out to Blake Ailes, a true freshman tight end who they are just drooling over. They love this kid.
It's high school teammate to high school teammate.
Yep.
Corp to Ailes.
You know, Ness, one other thing that I know we talked about earlier is Sanchez is a guy that sat around and waited for 4 years to get a job. I mean, you talk about patience and persistence. Here's a guy that had to wait, and most of the quarterbacks at Southern Cal had to do that.
Oh, sure. That's the way it is. And they say Pete Carroll and Sark to say he is the best prepared. He works harder than all the rest of them. He is better prepared than anybody that they've ever had.
Corp prepared to play today and is getting a chance, and he's back to throw again. Fires come in and out of the hands. Nice hit put on the tight end. Ailes again. Glaspie laid the wood to him. Well, the season, much like 2007, this season has started with a bang with East Carolina picking off Virginia Tech today. But when you think about 2007 and all the things that happened in 1 or 2, the number 1 or number 2 teams, 8 of the last 9 weeks of the season lost. There were record-setting points, total yards, passing yards a game, and unranked teams beat top 5s 13 times. That's the key.
Unbelievable.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And of course, an unranked beat a top 20 team today with East Carolina over Virginia Tech.
Well, what do you think about Ohio State going out to play these guys in a couple of weeks?
Well, the ball is loose. Lalek lost it in the pile. USC's got it back. I would say that Chris Wells' injury situation would determine a lot in that ball game.
Yeah, and he's not going to. That's an injury you're not going to recover quickly from. I don't care if it's not broken. If it's not broken, if it's just sprained or bruised, or you're a running back, you need your feet to run. If it had been a hand or an arm, it'd be different. But it's your feet, and you need your feet to run.
Well, that's Virginia's 4th straight possession with a turnover. Clay Matthews caused the fumble again. Wow. He's been all over the place today. Only 4.5 minutes left, but now the Trojans have got it back with a 45-7 lead, and they have it at about the 11-yard line.
They're missing a player. Now they have to call a timeout.
Well, a lot of new guys out there. A lot of new guys out there. We'll take a timeout along with him. Steve Sarkisian said, Pete, sorry, we had to call a timeout. 4:33 left. Well, no matter how many times you visit Thomas Jefferson's mansion, It's always something special. Only American house on the United Nations list of World Heritage Sites. Jefferson's house has been acclaimed as an essay in architecture here in Charlottesville, 80 miles northwest of Richmond. 3 former presidents, James Madison, James Monroe, and Thomas Jefferson, all made their home here. Matt Weiner's got an update in New York. USC driving.
Change at quarterback and a big change in momentum at the big house. Nick Sheridan got the start today for Michigan. This is Stephen Threaton, one play after a blocked punt. He's a deep 3. Stephen to Junior Hemingway, 33 yards. Michigan has since recovered a fumble. They have it again, down just 8.
Mitch Mustain at quarterback now for USC, as they've got down inside the 5 of Virginia. Virginia hanging tough, not quitting defensively, and make the stop here with 3:48 in the clock running in the 4th quarter. Pete Carroll's team will go to 1-0. Resounding win in the next 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, they look good in all facets, offense and defense. The kicking game, they only had the 1 fumble. McKnight fumbled the punt return.
The only other miscue was the interception by Sanchez, and that was a tip ball intended for McKnight.
And their defense has come up with some turnovers, like you mentioned, 4 in a row, the last 4 possessions for Virginia.
Mustain at quarterback. They can get a first down without a touchdown. Snap goes right between his legs, and they're going the wrong way this time as it's out to the 12-yard line. Well, Gillette presents our kickoff week continuing tonight in Atlanta, especially big one between the ACC and the SEC. You'll either see Alabama and Clemson or Michigan State and California. Chick-fil-A college kickoff game tonight at 8 Eastern. Check your local listings for the game in your area. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. The Chick-fil-A folks and Gary Stokan and the guys, the Atlanta Sports Council, are going to make that an annual event. They want it to be the Daytona 500 of college football, and it's the hottest ticket that Atlanta's seen in a long time.
I commend everybody for doing it. The 2 teams for getting together.
The guys that put it together?
Yeah, exactly. Everything.
Everybody's having a good time in Atlanta. Not such a good time in Charlottesville. Trojans at the Virginia 10-yard line, a 4th down and 9. They can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Mitch Mustain in at quarterback, 3rd quarterback to play for the Trojans today. Mark Tyler is in the backfield. Mustain is going to float it out to him. Tyler looking for a block. 10, 5, cuts to the end zone, touchdown. And Wendell Tyler's son. We mentioned a lot of sons today. There's another one. The 5th tailback scores for USC.
And it's just a well-designed play. You gotta say that Steve Sarkisian and his offensive coaches on that staff really doing a nice job.
So it's about to be 52-7. Tyler, a little gimpy going off after scoring the touchdown. He had to work for it and try to pound his way in, which he did. And Bueller for the extra points. Kick is up and good. 2:33 remaining in the ball game. The stands are emptying. USC is involved in a rout. 52-7 USC. Virginia with 2:33 remaining in the ball game. Hasn't been a great day for the Cavaliers. They did have something to cheer about earlier in the ball game. Jim Dombrowski, who was a great player here in the mid-'80s, 2-time Jacobs Award winner as the ACC's top offensive lineman, went to the NFL draft as a number 6 choice overall in the 1st round, and he was honored here today as he'll go into the College Football Hall of Fame at the awards ceremony in December. And there's former ACC Commissioner, our old buddy Gene Corrigan, presenting him with that College Hall of Fame plaque. And Jim's one of 9 guys to have their jersey numbers not retired, but the jerseys retired. And another one was honored today as Rondé Barber.
Yeah.
Tiki had already had his retired. So now there's 9 guys in the history of Virginia football that have been so honored.
And both those guys are deserving. You know, Rondé and Tiki, both great players and great gentlemen.
Yep.
And we interviewed her mother a long time ago. Their mother in one of the ball games that we were doing, and you can understand she was just as sweet as she could be. You can tell where they came from.
Deep kick, And they're going to run it back anyway. Chase Minifield's going to bring it from deep in his own end zone. Minifield weaves his way out to about the 24-yard line. 2:26 and a new quarterback now for Virginia. Mark Verica will take the controls. Lollick went the whole way until now. Reynard Horn with the carry, and he lost about 4 on the play. We mentioned Jim Dombrowski has been one of the guys that had his jersey retired, and that Rondé likewise, before we went to the commercial, Bob was talking about Rondé and Tiki both now have had their jerseys retired and put in a frame. The other guys you might wanted to know about: Sean Moore, Bill Dudley, way back in the day. Bill's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame too. Frank Quayle, Joe Palumbo, Gene Edmonds, Jim Dombrowski, Chris Long, and Rondé Barber today.
There you go.
Pretty good group. The only problem is there hasn't been a lot of sweet things happen today, except a few moments ago when Ann Groh, the head coach's wife, came in our booth and did deliver her homemade chocolate chip cookies, and I'm the only one that's not like a little mouse up here in the booth eating Ann's chocolate chip cookies.
I didn't touch him. He won't give me any.
He's got his hand over that bag, and it's sealed, and it's...
She said yesterday she would bring us some goodies.
She said, all of you, not just you.
She makes them for the team, and she said she'll make extra for us, and she did. Thanks, Ann.
I was just checking them out to make sure they were good. She says they were her favorite cookies, and I was just making sure they were good.
Yeah, you and
right, guys.
You and Clint and Pat were just tasting them for us.
All of the guys that had tasted them.
That's good. So we're down to the final minutes.
Yes.
And now we look ahead to a guy like that playing against an Ohio State offense that's got a lot of weapons, and of course James Laurinaitis will be there. And between those two guys, and those are the only linebackers that'll make plays, but oh my goodness, as you said, Butkus is going to be there to watch him, because they're both high on the list right now.
Yep.
And James is the reigning Butkus Award winner. Players of the game: Chevrolet, Mark Sanchez, great day, 3 touchdowns. John Copper had 11 tackles and forced a fumble. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Howell been a busy freshman punter today. And Carswell will field this one. He got by the first wave, and Carswell out to the 45. And a lot of guys that may not play as much against Ohio State are seeing a lot of action here today on the road in Charlottesville. That's going to wrap things up as Sanchez, sensational. Maualuga and company. There's Lindell White, former star, on the sideline with him. And we're down to 12 seconds remaining in the ball game.
Well, if there's any question at all about Sanchez, he just answered him today for everybody. He moved very well in the pocket. He ran with the ball. He threw the ball extremely well. The guy is a tough kid, man. I mean, you dislocate your kneecap, 3 weeks ago, and you're starting and throwing for 7,000 yards, which is really nice.
Garrett Green's actually going to take the last snap of the ball game. He'll go on record as the 4th quarterback to play for USC today. They win it going away. The Trojans a winner, 52-7. Once again is our final score. That's the final, 52-7. Pete Carroll, another win and a resounding one on the road as we head to the studio from Charlottesville.